Oh.
Now we balls that one up, didn't we? I said, should we have an intro? Yeah, we'll have an intro. Good evening, and welcome to another exciting show. And people are thinking, hang on a minute, it's not Sunday, it's not Monday. Hang on, hang on, hang on, hang on. We got feedback here. We got feedback. Hang on, that's better. Guess who stopped? Guess who balls something up? Anyway, we got a couple of people. We've been doing some recordings and things, and Nathan said, "Why don't we go do a live show?" So I said, "Yeah, all right then."
Why not? I mean, what else is there to do on a Friday night?
Well, precisely.
Is it
yes.
Friday?
Is it Friday? Yes, yes. Well, I've got.
Do we know?
The other reason is to celebrate that. Rosie 2 has been tested and she's perfectly okay. You're thinking, hang on a minute, who's Rosie 2? It's my car. Yes, it had its MOT today and passed with flying colours. So we're going live to celebrate because all my cars and my push bikes are named after ladies. Now you're trying to think, Rosie. Who's Rosie named after? Any guesses? Let's have a look.
The sadistic side of me is going to say Rosie O'Donnell. I have no idea who that is. It keeps getting mentioned in like shows. I don't know.
There's a girl at school that fancied me.
Oh right, okay then. Oh, so no latent regret or anything there then.
No. Hello, name was Rose. Hello, Rose. Hello, Rose. Yeah. So her name was Rose. So I've got Rosie 1, which is my push bike. Rosie 2, which is my Toyota, my car, and there's Rosie 3, which is my Peugeot bike. So there we go. Because they're, I don't know quite why, and also they're red. So Rosie Red,
Plus, if you try and ride both bikes together, you're gonna have rosy cheeks.
Yes.
There you go. See, that was quite tame considering, wasn't it?
And I'll be speaking very much like this, won't I, afterwards? Anyway,
very interesting.
We've been talking about what? Now, I just can't remember. What have we been talking about?
Well, I'll tell you what. I'm going to pull the presentation back up as well. So let's bring this up. There we go. So that should be. If you want to refer to it at some point, we can bring that up.
That's right. We've been talking about this, haven't we?
There we go.
And that is a kind of. Well, I don't know about you, but George Carlin said something very true. People are stupid. And he was right. He
definitely was
stupid. And I mean, I saw some bozo walking around with a bleeding mouth muzzle on today. It's been a warm day. It's been a nice, well, it's not summer yet because it's not summer until the 21st of June. So it's still spring. And you just think, what's in their minds? What are they up to? What's going on? This is bonkers. Yeah. But the problem we have, I think, is that I actually think from about before the First World War, we live in a world or a country which is led by propaganda. And people are not thinking for themselves. They're led by the propaganda. I think we've got a what do you call it? A troll in chat.
Could that be? There she is.
God, how many minutes and our hosts are calling us stupid already? No,
humans in general, Holly. I mean, to be fair, George Carlin said it best. Talk about dumb, stupid animals. They're dumb, stupid. Yeah, I mean, great. Talk about a good bullshit story. Holy shit. Anyway, so there's humans.
That's a good one. That's just like George Carlin.
There you go.
I mean, and Mark Anthony's in as well.
I know, we've got two. This is interesting, isn't it?
This is a rare treat on a Friday night. Now, actually, I said everybody a bit. No, this is actually Monday, isn't it? I mean, didn't you realise this?
No.
See, we're on a parallel universe. I know. As I say, Nathan and I were doing some recordings, and he said, "Hey, come, let's go live." So yeah, all right, sorry, let's go live. So there we go.
Seemed like a good idea at the time, didn't it? So
yes. Now, you know that the Foccum film industry I'm thinking of doing, adverts for films that will never happen. From actors and actresses that are dead, so that they can't, there's no problems with legal problems,
Mm.
and and if you can think of some good films with the most ill-fitting people, like for example, earlier I said Churchill, the story, starring. Well, I was going to say Julian Clary, but that's where we can. I don't think you'd mind. So
I mean,
we've
there's limits. There's limits, isn't there?
yes,
It's,
we've put them on the beaches.
oh God.
And then it'll be Adolf Hitler, played by Agony Aunt. What was her name? Claire
You,
Rayner. And it'd be
you do
uh,
realise what you've just done there, right?
yeah.
What was the one thing we said we weren't going to mention on tonight's show, and you just bloody done it? You
What's
mentioned not
that?
only H word, you mentioned the H word, Mr. H.
Oh yes, I did.
So less
Yes.
than six
But
minutes,
but
demonetized. Great.
that's right. And do you realise that with AI we could bring dead actors and actresses back? So it'll be it'll be Claire Rayner, the agony aunt, saying, um, we need to invade Poland. Will you do that for us, dears? Will you do that? And remember, the size of your weapons doesn't really matter. That'd be quite interesting. It's a new sort of slant on World War Two, isn't it? So anybody can think of a film with dead people that have long gone that have got the most weirdest, the worst sort of fitting actors. Like. Ooh, I was just thinking. Well, I thought The Life and Times of Nelson Mandela, played by Warren Mitchell as Alf Garnett. That'd be quite good, wouldn't it?
Well, what about Malcolm X? I mean, it's got to be a white guy for inclusivity reasons, right? I mean, it goes both ways.
Malcolm X. Who would that be now?
Well, I don't know. Who's the guy that from The Great Escape? What's his name?
Steve McQueen.
There you go. Perfect casting.
Steve.
What
about Big John Wayne? Malcolm X. John Wayne is Malcolm X.
There you go.
Okay, everybody.
Hey! Look, we're getting an all-time new high for.
We are, aren't we?
Yeah.
Look who we got. Because we said, who are we gonna get? Who are we gonna get in chat tonight? And I said, well, probably be one bloke and his dog, because nobody knows it coming on. And look, we're all filling up in chat already. We got Asperger's as Fudge. Now, I actually think that name should be the next Prime Minister of Great Britain. Can you imagine it? Prime Minister Asperger's as Fudge. You imagine on a talk show. Now, Asperger's as Fudge. What do you think about the economic problems we have?
Well, it'd be an improvement, wouldn't it?
Yes. Now, Chris is a very naughty boy. Yes.
Certainly is.
And he's in. Yeah, actually he's in.
Oh, you missed one there. You missed. You've missed. There you go. Barefoot
this
Forager.
one.
Yeah.
Barefoot Forager. Are you admitting to being dead or deep fakes?
Bit of both.
Very much alive.
Well, I don't know. You might be. I mean, I think I might be Phantom or something. Could be.
And Hadji actually says, I'm here with a dog. That's good. And Barefoot Forager says, that's a university challenge name. What, Asperger's as Fudge?
You've got to be like a certain age to even know what that is, right? I mean, university challenge. I mean, we shouldn't know what it is because we should have all been at school, unless you were an actual naughty boy and you skipped it. And it's like daytime TV, isn't it? Back in the
Bamber Gascoigne.
4 times. Yeah.
Bamber Gascoigne. And then it was, who's that other geezer? It was on Newsnight. What's his name now? I can't remember his bleeding name. What was it? I can't. But I found that boring, really, wasn't it? It was all for the sort of poncy kids, middle class kids. Oh yes, hello Jasper, how are you? And all that sort of stuff,
I can.
Where's your chin? Really? Where's your chin, Jimmy? Oh, I never had one. I've got to stiff up a lip. All that sort of crap.
I tell you what I used to like. 15 to 1. I don't know whether you remember that. It's like a 15 contestants. They had 3 lives each, and yet whoever answered all the questions correctly was the winner. It was the better caliber of, But yeah.
Yes, there used to be a Japanese program called Endurance that an Australian bloke, I can't remember his name, used to cover, and it's these Japanese that are going through all kinds of things to endure. And one of them was to go through a tunnel with the hoops that were alight. and they thought they were being sprayed with petrol. And they go, oh, but they're actually being sprayed with water. and, and it was a loony show. They were going, oh, I don't know. And the top one that won it, they went through all his endurance. The other one was it. That was it. They came to Britain, and it's a bloody freezing cold day. They had to stand there with their underpants on and drink loads of cold water. And the first one to have a pee lost. So they're going,
Didn't they rename that to Takeshi's Castle or something later?
Because to speak Japanese, you've got to suffer from chilblains and constipation. Did you know that?
Yeah, I know. We've done the impressions in the past. I think we almost got kicked off.
Yeah. But anyway, programs coming up. We're going to do some. We got here. What was it? A chap called Trevor John is coming on this Sunday, and Strange Vibes, and he's a singer, and he plays the guitar, doesn't he? Trevor John, I think he does. And then this Monday we got Kath. And some geezer called Nathan. Don't know who he is. He's coming on with her.
Don't know.
And he said he's coming on. Do you know who he is?
Well, second hour, Second hour.
Anyway, he's coming
Not
on.
that I know what it is like. But...
And then on the Sunday afterwards, on the 8th of June, there will be a D-Day alternative special. And it's an alternative view, and Monica Schaefer will be on. And before then, we're due to do a recorded show which will go out on Friday the 6th of June. But it would be a recorded show going out on the 6th of June on the actual day itself, you see. And then on the 9th of June, it's Nathan back again. Whee!
Bloody hell.
So that's good,
you want to have words with him. It sounds like he's got nothing better to do, but
But hang on, Arsburgers as Fudge says, I know Trevor. Hey, and guess who else has joined us? It's Stig. Morning, Stig. Morning, Stig.
Okay.
That's good, isn't it?
Have we found a new time slot for like a super duper like weird show then? I mean, you'd think Friday night. I mean, shouldn't you be all out getting pissed or something? I mean, well, it's a good job you're not monetized because you'd have just lost it on that one. But you said the H word, so
I did. So we're going to be banned anyway.
Yeah.
Now, I remember Stephen Fry representing Queen's College, Cambridge. Say no more. Ooh.
Queen's College, interesting.
Queen's College, yes. Yeah. And then we got, who remembers Blockbusters? Yes, I did, with Bob Holness.
Yeah.
Now, here's a question. Who was the first James Bond? And people say, it's Sean Connery.
Well, back to the quiz showy thing now.
Yes, was it Sean Connery or was it not Sean Connery?
It wasn't Sean Connery because it was Casino Royale, but it was more of a comedy thing, right? So it was, and I forgot who
that was later. That was in the
really?
First one, yeah. Oh yes, that was with David Niven, wasn't it? Casino Royale.
I have no idea.
But no, the first James Bond was Bob Holness on the radio.
Oh way.
Yeah,
okay.
And he thought, because I think he was a lovey or an actor, he thought he was going to get the part of James Bond, but Sean Connery got it, and I think he was a bit peed off about it.
Probably for being told off here. I mean, to be fair, I always get told off, so it's
well, it's just
that's only fair. Focus.
Very, very good group. They're a Dutch group from the 1970s, and I'm old enough to remember them. Hocus Pocus with Focus. So great Barefoot Foreigner. I didn't think you was that age to remember them. Very good. Excellent. So there we are. So
do I have to reprimand him for that one? I'm supposed to be getting trolled here. I can't allow that one to slip, Chris. That's
I put my dog up for climbing Everest, then found out a Chihuahua, was it?
Chihuahua, them little rat things, the pretended dogs, them things. Yeah.
Was the first dog to do it. I couldn't make it up. Oh, bleed now. Do you know?
Catapults, mate. Catapults. Honestly,
yes.
It'd be great. Get them up in no time.
there's something about small dogs. I love all animals, but there's something about small dogs I don't like. And it,
Certain ones, because we were having this discussion. So
Yorkshire Terriers, I can't
Yorkshire
stand them.
Terriers, Jack
Vicious
Russells,
bastards.
and Chihuahuas, right? And
Right.
poodles, because they're not really dogs; they're basically llamas.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean they're confused.
And
So
more people get
poodles as well.
bitten by poodles each year are in A&E because they've been bitten by a poodle than Alsatians. Did you know that statistically?
That does
They're
not
vicious
surprise me
little
one bit.
bastards.
Yeah.
And I mean, there was a neighbour of mine. She's moved away now, but she had a toy dog. Have you ever heard of a toy dog? It's about the size of a rat, and it's sort
Good
of
God.
shaking all the time. I went, ah, he went, ah, just got my hand out of the way in time, little bastard. And it, it, excuse my language, but it's very difficult to tell the difference between his backside and its face. Actually, in fact, you know, if I had a dog that looked like Keir Starmer, I'd shave its bum and train it to walk backwards. You know, so, sorry, terrible joke, but no, it's a horrible thing. It's a lap dog. It's also, I like that.
You do realise you just
bloody old
insulted
manual.
half of Britain with that.
Yeah,
Is it?
yeah,
Right then,
yes.
shall
Right, hang
shall
on.
we? Yeah.
Yes. Dog insulting, people insulting, quiz shows. I'm giving up sleep for this.
Right, well. Hold your beauty sleep off just for a little while, because shall we give this a plug, as impromptu as it is? I don't know.
Why
Can you
not?
bring that back
Give
up
it a
on the
plug.
screen? And yeah,
Get up on the here we go. Voila.
yeah. There you go. Hang on, I need to expand my screen now. There we go. So can I control it from here again?
Yeah.
I can. There you go. Right. Okay. So do you want me to just give it a roll on with it for a minute, and then see if we can get people's attention?
Are you all right? Are you all right with us in a corner like that, or do you want me? Don't want to
Yeah,
be down
that's
the
fine.
side?
That's fine, because I
Yeah, okay.
think I've
Yeah.
adjusted. Yes, I have. Right, there we go. So I adjusted that. Right. Okay. So for anybody watching, and hopefully for anyone watching after the live show and the live stream impromptu thing that we're doing, so we have, or rather, myself and Steve James, who's a regular on the show, we have put together a new initiative called Occult Academy, which is a 2-day seminar featuring presentations from both Steve and myself on a varied array of subjects. So I'm gonna go through this quick, because obviously you've got videos and shorts and stuff to come out that people can watch in their own time. But just to skip through this, this is the official poster for the event. Again, if you have a look on there, you can see what it involves. Occult symbolism, tarot, hermeticism, numerology, natural law, dialectics, and occult psychological warfare. And there's a lot of stuff in there. Again, what people would find is the majority of the stuff in the presentations in the seminar will be in the book Fake Awake, and any books that come out after that. I'm going to go through this quick, so if anyone's got any questions, just feel free to ask. Okay, just done that one. I'm yapping now. So, as it says on the poster, courtesy of a lovely lady in the audience, this is an initiative brought to you by the good guys. So what we're dealing with here is the subject of the occult, and obviously the occult refers to something that's been hidden or hidden from view. It's occulted. It's not evil. It's not remotely the territory of the bad guys. They don't own it. They just like to think they do. They like to keep it harvested for themselves, so that they've got all the information and they keep us in the dark. That's the whole idea of occulted. Or being occulted. So again, doesn't belong to the bad guys. It's not evil. So the whole point in this is we are going to demystify the occult, if you'd like to use those words, which is to say, bring it out into the open and show it for what it is. And again, most of the occult is basically the natural world, the natural universe, as it has been understood throughout the ages, which has been studied in mystery schools and secret societies and all of these things throughout the ages. There's a lot of subjects that come under the umbrella term of occult. So we've got a fair amount of stuff in there. Just an introduction to myself and Steve. I used to be a benefits advisor in a well-known advice agency. Apparently, I'm a self-taught genius, and I've been described as a walking encyclopedia by a lot of people. I don't know whether that's good or bad. Right. So I'm a public speaker, podcaster, publisher. We'll come back to that another time because that's still getting prepped. And author of the book Fake Awake, which we'll be coming to shortly. And Steve is former elite career soldier in the Air Force, who obviously resigned through I guess an act of principle and morality because he refused to take poisonous substances through pointy objects. I think I can get away with saying that, Chris. He's also specialist. Yeah. Let's go for that. Specialist in outdoor activities, prepping and foraging, survival stuff, all of that kind of stuff. And he's very, very good at it. And so he does a lot of courses. So, on a separate note to Occult Academy, and if anyone's interested in that, get yourself along to Steve James's outdoor courses, survival courses, etc. He's also an exceptional public speaker in the subject of the occult, natural law, tarot, numerology, and various conspiracy topics. And the pair of us appear on here quite often, as well as other podcasts that can be found in and around. There we go. I'm going to take a breather a sec. Right. Okay, so just a plug again for my book, Fake Awake. If anybody is interested, for those who haven't bought it, I'm just a quick look at what it covers. It's currently in one condensed volume. Now, there's been a lot of criticism about the text size, so which is a fair point. I know that the borders in the book are quite thin and the text is quite small. The reason for that is because obviously there's an incredible amount of content in there that I wanted to price it as low as possible for what we've got. So what's in there? Effectively, what I'm going to do is split it into 2 volumes in a edited version. So instead of one condensed volume, there's going to be 2 of them. That looks at brief analysis of society, 7 deadly mindsets, 7 deadly psyops. Again, I've done an advert on this, so I'll leave that for later. There's a lot of psychology in it in volume 2, cult formation psychosis, full spectrum dominance, which is a very it's an all-inclusive term for all of the agendas at play in the various forms that they're taken to, let's say, install us, take our rights and freedoms away and put us inside a digital prison effectively. So that covers that. The subject of natural law, brain mechanics, which looks at dichotomies, paradigms, dialectics, things like that. So skipping past that, we've also got in that book chapter 666, which is Steve James's rather large chapter going into a lot of occult themed stuff. So if you like that, the stuff that he talks about during the Occult Academy seminars is also largely covered in his chapter 666 in the book Fake Awake. There's also a ton of exclusive interviews in there for anyone who's interested in that, with Ben Emlyn-Jones, Carol Bowler, Chris Powis, I don't know who that is, some guy who's got a podcast somewhere, John Hamer, Shannon Rowan, Mark Devlin, and another massive segment from Steve James. So it's all right. I'm almost coming to the end of this, and if anyone's got any questions, get in touch or ask in the chat, and we'll answer as best as we can. On the page that's showing, if you want to get in touch with us about any of these events, to book any of these events in your area, please get in touch. The emails are on screen as we speak. I'll leave that there for a couple of seconds while I wet my throat with my special cup. Yep.
Yes. And you will need a
product placement.
Product placement. That's right. And we're not overdoing the product placement, are we?
No, we would never do that.
We'd never do that. No.
I think that would be reprehensible. But anyway, merchandise will be available, of course. Right. Okay. This is what I wanted to get to. So this has been a work in progress for a long time. So I have a series of public talks that I've done over the last couple of years. They've all got their own slides, presentations, etc., and they are very lengthy. So what I've decided to do is upload them in a series of sort of 40-minute segments. So for each of the presentations, I think they're about 4 hours long at best. I mean, some of them are 5 actually, but so what I'll do is I'll split those into their own series of 40-minute shows, if you like, which have got the slides, full narration throughout, explanations, So I'm getting to the interesting stuff, Holly. Just give us a sec. Anyway, right. So my presentations include Fake Awaken, the 7 Deadly Mindsets, which is a favorite topic of mine because it pulls the truth movement to bits rather successfully, not for the reasons that people think. The reason I pull the truth movement to bits in such a fashion is because I want to galvanize them. I want to get them back on, proper footing. I want them to realize that they've been psyoped, that they've been sidelined, and all of this stuff that has effectively shut down the movement. We need to bring that back and get shit done. Sorry, just read this. What's this comment here? Sorry if I missed it, but where is the event take? Right, the event, the first event is due to take place in Gosforth, which is part of Newcastle, mate. If you're interested, again, there's if you can go back to the emails, if you just get in touch with me, I can send you all this. Or if you get in touch with Chris on Fockham Hall through his Telegram channel or his Facebook channel, you send all the details. The idea is to get Occult Academy to do a tour around the country. So, obviously not, a couple of weekends here and there. So if anyone has a venue, or they think they can get an audience or sufficient amount of numbers to attend these events, please get in touch with us and let's get it organized, because Steve and I will travel gladly to get us out of the house effectively and to bring this information to people. So yeah, I hope that answers your question, mate. Right. Again, going back to the presentations. Thrice Greatest, which is a special presentation on Hermeticism. That is a very lengthy presentation, and if you're not familiar with the subject, it can be heavy going. So, it's hopefully we can go through that at a steadier pace as opposed to when I'm presenting in front of a live audience, because then people look at you and say, oh God, I'm lost. But there you go. We can go through that. Hippo-Christianity, another presentation. Well, this is a favorite of mine, which looks at the history and occult aspects within Christianity, as well as the many contradictions. I'm getting to it. Right. God, Earth, Reality, and What the Hell Is This? So that is looking at deities and syncretism through the ages. It's all right. She's just trolling me, mate. It's. I mean, I don't even know whether I'm supposed to be paying for this. Maybe I should pay to be trolled. Is that a thing? Do you reckon?
I mean, idea, isn't it? Yes.
Be interesting.
Yes.
So yeah, I like this troll though. A Question of Morality, which is that one speaks for itself. That looks at again, morals, ethics, natural law, as well as mind traps, logical fallacies, critical thinking. And what I like to tell people is that, the truth movement likes to pride itself on the fact that it's a bunch of critical thinkers. It's not. It's a massive subject that a lot of people don't understand. So, if you're interested in what critical thinking actually is, as opposed to what you think it is, i.e., I don't believe in the mainstream, therefore I'm a critical thinker. That's not what it is, unfortunately. This is a new one. Hello, Jay.
Hello, Jay.
There we go. We have another personal favorite of mine, The Greatest Story Ever Never Told. And that's probably one of the most occult presentations I've ever done. For anyone who's interested, that looks at the nature of time, playing cards, seasons, special, holy days or holidays that go back into pagan roots. And then finally, I've got Brain Mechanics, which is how your brain is socially engineered to control you. And the last time I presented this, I had a massive audience, mate. I mean, to be fair, they were all like, they loved the presentation, and it was a massive audience of 3 people. So,
wow.
Well, it was a very short notice thing, so we kind of just popped it out there and thought, well, see who turns up. It was a good crowd. By crowd, I mean it was a good 3 people plus the hosts. There you go. Right. So I think I've got through that as quickly as I possibly can, in the interest of getting some questions or getting onto people's comments. If anyone is interested, my organization it's not an organization, but there you go, is Nathan Lucius PhD. PhD stands for Philosophy, History and Psychology, which is what a lot of the work is based on. So there's our emails, and that's what we do. So, right, shall we take some questions then?
Right.
Should we do that?
Jay has said, love Nathan's work on the occult. Do you
Fantastic.
have a website or channel?
Right, the website. Yes, right. I don't have a website yet, but I'm in the process of getting one put together. But it's probably going to be a couple of months before it's up and running. So yes, there is a website en route, but it won't be here just yet. And I've got a lovely chap who's friends with John Hamer, who has agreed to do that for me. But we'll come to that because it's going to have several sections to that website, which is going to be beneficial to other people as well. So I won't say who at the minute, but it'll be beneficial for a number of reasons. I'm also in the process of putting a Patreon account together, obviously for the presentations I've just discussed there. The first segment of every presentation will be available on YouTube. So it'll be a 40-minute introduction to the rest of the presentation. Good question. Can you bring that one up, Chris?
I knew you would. Yes.
Go on. Right. Okay.
Are you a flat earther? Well, of course you are not. Sorry, didn't mean to.
Well, right. Okay. Right. Because we'll come to some more of these. Right. First of all, no, I'm not. And I know I get a lot of stick over this from, I'm going to call them truthers in general. I know there's a large portion of the truth movement that is. So I've got a 20-page chapter in Fake Awake that I think successfully dismantles the arguments for flat Earth. And I'd be quite happy to debate this. I mean, we do have flat Earth friends who are, who are guests that come on the show. Yeah, John Hamer's a flat. Hey, John Hamer knows my stance, mate. He's respectful of my stance. I'm respectful of his. John's a very good friend of mine. So there's a mutual respect there. He's a fascinating fella, full of great information. But there you go. Yeah, he's a flat earther. I'm not. Same with Mark Devlin. He's a flat earther, and I'm not. But hey, guess what? You can still get on with people just because you don't agree with them.
Well,
there you go.
If I could interject here,
Yeah, please.
Can you give us some fascinating tidbits about
that's just blacklisted
about some of these subjects? Really, I didn't think it was a porno type film. I thought it was a family show. We can't mention about tidbits, can we?
Well, look, I mean, it's either. I can't. I'm not going to do that. I was going to say usually with you, Chris, it's farts, isn't it? So it's
farts. Yes, it's farts.
It's farts.
And I've got an absolute real smutty gag for Monday. I tell you, and Kathy's on, and it make a Vicar go red. It's a real ultra smut, but. Funny enough, before we came on live, we was talking about a future show in which, are we okay? Should we come straight on so people can see us, or are you still wanting?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think that's kind of done that now. So yeah.
Sure? Okay.
Can we after you've said what you're going to say, can we go back to Holly's question about some fascinating? I'm not going to say that because it just sounds weird now. You've spoilt it for me, Chris. You've spoilt it. But yeah, I'll happily go into some of those. Subject areas and go into we'll come back to that a sec.
Before we
came
on air, we were talking about having a show because we're all very polite gentlemen and ladies and that, where we have a flat earther or flat earthers and round earthers, and everybody says their piece, and there'll be no insults, no rudeness, nobody say, you bloody idiot, you stupid old thick as shit, thinking this. None of that. It'll all be very, very polite. And we've done this before, and it's done, it really has worked well because we've all got good microphone discipline, and we're all, we're all gentlemen and ladies, and I think that's how it should be. So, and I want the show to sort of end where people are saying, oh, that flat earth person had an interesting point there, and then that round earthen person said that's something very interesting, and let people work it out for themselves. That's it. That's it. But we want to go back. You wanted to go back to what this question from?
Yeah. So what is it? Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of there's a wide subject area there. I mean, is there any specific presentation you want to ask about, or is it just general? I mean, one of my one of my pet peeves, I guess, if you want to call it that, is the truth movement. And I don't. That's
Oh
not an
yes.
attack. That's not an attack on truthers. Just, I mean, it comes across that way. But what I've observed in the truth movement, is that it mostly barely touches the truth. It barely even scrapes it these days, and there's no movement. So it's not moving, right? So my pet peeve is, I think we've been diverted by psyops.
I
I
agree.
think there's been,
I
right. So I
100%
think there's
agree.
been, yeah. I mean, we've done shows on this in the past,
Mm.
but we have been diverted massively as a movement. So yeah, a lot of the stuff in the presentations deals with psyops, which then looks at psychology, cults, why they form, how they form, how to recognize them, stuff like that. So there's a lot of that. I like the psychology stuff. I like logical fallacy and mind traps, and certain sociological paradigms that people tend to fall into, like splitting and stuff like that.
Mm.
As for the occult stuff, yeah, I'm quite happy to discuss some of that. um where do we start with this? Again, the occult is a massive, massive subject range. In fact, if you look behind me, the middle bookcase there, all of those books are the occult. All of them, every single one of them. That is all, secret esoteric knowledge that's been
But
hidden through the ages.
if
So
I
go
could
on.
clarify something
Yeah,
there, because
yeah, of
people
course.
think when you say occult,
Yeah,
they think about conjuring up the devil and stuff like that. That couldn't be
yeah,
further from what you're saying. That couldn't
right.
be literally further from that. So
Not
I just thought
right.
I'd clarify that a little bit better.
Okay. Well, I mean, so the occult means, again, we discussed it earlier, didn't we? So it means
Mm.
something that's been hidden from view, right? Which is exactly what they've done. They've took uh, basically knowledge of nature, right? And Barefoot Forager
Mm.
can probably relate to this, right? So there's a lot of natural, right, in terms of natural remedies or things that you can do with the natural world, that how does it work, why does it operate the way it does, why does it follow certain patterns and sequences, and why does it occur where it did, all of these things. This is natural information. This is the natural world. Sun cycles, lunar cycles, day and night cycles. All of these things would fall under the category of the occult. The only thing that they would do is mask it under some other heading, so that it seems secretive and you know, not what it is. But effectively, that's what we're dealing with. I mean, I know. So 95% of truthers like David Icke, Katie Hopkins are controlled opposition, telling us some truths, but not the. I disagree with that, mate.
Spot on. I'd
I
agree with it.
disagree with that.
I agree with it.
Not with David Icke. I don't think. Not with David Icke. I mean, I know he gets. So if we're talking about occult subjects, look at what David's touched upon.
Um, well, hang on. Let's look at David Icke.
Go on.
I mean, well, let's just quickly look here. Little Tommy Trousers from.
You know that.
That's not his. Yes, it definitely is, and Katie Hopkins definitely is. They don't even hide it. It's out in plain view. It's in front of you.
Well,
But
you've put stuff on your group as well, so that one's, you know,
mm, but I agree
yeah.
with Jay there, because this thing is, when you look at David Icke, yes, he has come out with a lot of things, but
Hmm.
I think at certain times of his, for inverted commas, career, I suppose you'd call it, he has been controlled without him, I don't think, realising it. And one of them was this South African chap whose name I couldn't even begin to pronounce. He's dead now, unfortunately.
Credo Mutwa.
Zulu.
Yeah, Credo
Yes,
Mutwa.
that's
Yeah,
Credo Mutwa. Now
yeah.
he did work for George Bush Senior, and it is believed he was a CIA on their payroll. And
Interesting.
what David Icke came out with was very logical. And then he started talking about lizards. Now,
Hmm.
what's the biggest thing to make people think you're nutcases? Say, oh, that person's mutated into a lizard and things like that, and the royal family
Hmm.
of lizards. Well, they might be, they might not be. I don't know, but how can you explain it?
Yeah.
If you're teaching a person to ride a bike, you don't get them on a top racer first of all. No, you start them on some little tiny bike first of all, and they gradually build
Yeah.
up to that. And the thing is, the more you find out about things, and I actually think that was done deliberately to discredit him. And also, how did he get on the Wogan show? You see, this is
Well,
another
that
thing.
one's easy. I mean, don't forget he used to work on various mainstream media platforms. You sports commentators and stuff like that. So I mean, he was already part of that establishment, if you like. So the fact that he went on the Wogan show, kind of to me, it's like, oh, from that perspective, oh, this guy's lost his mind, so let's have him on as a guest and see where it's all gone wrong. That I think that to me was a humiliation ritual. If you're going to look at it like that. Now,
Mm.
personally, I don't suspect Ike, and I know a lot of people do, but my argument to that is, especially with stuff like the occult. Look, a lot of the stuff that I know about the occult comes from Ike, right? And other people, mainly Mark Passio and Santos Bonacci, Michael Tsarian, people like that, which they all get accused of being shills and controlled opposition as well. But my point being, what the reason I'm saying this is, all right, maybe there's a possibility. Let's assume that he might be controlled opposition. Well, what's that achieved? How many people now are awake to what's going on in the world because of David Icke's knowledge, because of what he's brought to us? So again, I
I
understand
give
what,
you that. I agree. I
right?
agree with you there. Yes,
So so
I agree with you. But what gets me, I mean, when we had this lockdown. Well, by the way, Carolyn Murphy said yes, but there's also a lot of subjects David Icke doesn't talk about, and one of them is usury.
no,
Now
he's
the
covered
thing
that,
is,
mate. He's covered
has
usury
he?
quite significant. Yeah, in his earlier
I
presentations.
I will stand to be corrected. Then I do
Yeah.
apologise. Then
But
I do apologise.
his
I
book.
didn't realise that.
I can't remember which book it was. Human Race, Get Off Your Knees. I think he
Hmm.
outlines it in there along with
Really?
the Agenda 2030. Yeah, I mean,
Well,
don't quote me on that because he's done a lot of
big
books. But
apology. I was wrong. Sorry. But the
well,
thing
I mean,
is,
it's if I'm wrong, then I will apologise. But I do recall him talking about it for a while. So
mm,
yeah,
now
so yeah,
we
go
got
on.
here. Was it no evidence? Tommy is Mossad. Well,
Mm,
I would have thought sitting in front of, going to that country regularly, and being photographed next to their army. I think. Don't you think it's a little bit suspicious?
well, I mean, you've uploaded several images which suggests that
Mm,
both Mr. Robinson and Hopkins are certainly playing for the same team. You know,
yes,
in that regard.
yes,
So,
and
and
it's
to
not
me, it
us.
seems pretty legit. So,
Mm.
um,
But
yeah,
you see, the thing is that I haven't been on any marches or anything like that, but I've seen these talks that they've done during the lockdown and that. But very few say, what are we going to do? How are we going to? I mean, it's all very well saying we'll have a mass spiritual uprising or something or whatever. But the thing is that the social engineers are very, very skillful. And what we're
absolutely.
seeing is a rerun of the 1920s because spiritual awakening isn't new. And after
Right.
World War One, you see, every war has to have a reason. It has to have a justification.
That's
And
casus
World War
belli, isn't it?
One,
The Romans used
that's
to have
right.
a phrase for this that they would have to have a reason to go to war. So it's a justification for war,
Hmm.
isn't it? So,
Well,
yeah.
that's it. But what you see there? This is why I've done a film. Plug. The war justification industry, and you can see that on this YouTube channel. Now, the thing is that in the 1920s we had all this lots of spiritual stuff. Now, I'd like to believe I'm spiritual. That's for other people to judge. That's not that'd be conceited for me to say that.
Mm,
But this spiritual awakening thing was started by the secret services in this country in the 1920s because we were on the verge of an uprising, and that's
yeah.
why the 1920 Firearms Act came about because you could actually in those days buy firearms over the table like you can in some states in
Mm,
America. Now they tightened up on firearms; they virtually took our arms away from us because you realise you had a lot of young, fit men coming back from the trenches who were trained to use weapons which they could have bought over the
mm,
counter. So they stopped that, and then, of course, they had the British Legion, which was started in 1921. But then, as you go forward, you look at the 1960s. Now, America was like a powder keg. So
yeah.
what did they have? A spiritual awakening. Copied what the British Secret Service did in the 1920s. But the
Do,
Americans, CIA, went a stage further. We had Hippie is full of love
Yeah.
and peace. And I'm all for love and peace, don't get me wrong. But then you had the Frankfurt School, who were kicked out of Germany in the 1930s, who actually advised America in the post-war period that every German's got to feel guilty for World War II. So they had a nation of guilt. But then they got into the schools. And then, because the Frankfurt School are very left-wing communists, and the hippie movement
Just a bit.
was the first starting. Now, again, I thought it was fantastic. People of
Mm.
peace and love. Who isn't against peace and love unless you're a bloody sadist or a psychopath or something? Yes, that's okay. But then you notice communism has crept in slowly, slowly, slowly,
Well,
slowly, slowly.
Can I interject here then? Because I mean, what you're saying, yeah, it's absolutely right. Here's the thing. So a lot of the, let's call it New Age movement, for want of, the hippie movement, flower power, all, this peace and love, all the stuff that you're on about. Yeah, it does seem to be a recurring theme, and it also seems to come rather before massive social upheaval, or like a massive social restructuring, if you like, which is why I think it's happening again now. And unfortunately, I think we've been subdued in the same way. But if you look at the origins of this, right? So again, this has got a cult origins. The New Age movement has a cult origins. It goes back to the likes of Blavatsky. Now, again, a lot of people say that Blavatsky was evil and she was a shill. But I don't care, right? I don't care. The point of the fact is that she brought a lot of information from the East back to the West and opened up spirituality, which then obviously lands in the hands of Satanists and stuff like that. So one of the things that people should probably be aware of with the New Age movement in particular, and again, not all New Age is bad. Not all New Age, it's not all bad. It's not a catchword for everything bad. It's been mixed together with like elements of social control, social engineering. Okay, so but a lot of that movement was constructed by the Church of Satan, especially in the the flower powery type period. That was largely a satanic insertion to I don't know, get people to again, it's a psyop, right? To get people to believe in a lot of nonsense. But what good is a lie if people can recognize it as a lie, right? So then you mix it in with truth. So then, the saying goes, a half truth is more dangerous than a lie, because then you've got a bunch of people who are confused and arguing amongst each other. Then you've got the diversion, the division between people, which will occur because of that. So all of that links back in. The other thing is just on what you're talking about here, the occult spiritual stuff. A lot of people will say to me, especially anybody who doesn't like the New Age, will say, "Oh, well, the occult and the New Age are the same thing." No, they're not. They're not. The New Age took a lot of elements of the occult and weaved it into the movement. Right? There is a lot of occult stuff embedded within the New Age that is true, that's verifiable. A lot of it's not. Going back to the earlier point that we were saying about David Icke's take on reptilians, personally, from what I've seen in the world, I've never seen any aliens, or I've seen strange stuff. I've seen demons. I've seen stuff like that. In fact, I've been attacked by demons. I know that sounds mad. We'll come to that in another show. But I don't dismiss it either. So is he right about shape-shifting reptilians? Don't know. Is it feasible? Yeah, of course it is. Because we don't know everything about this reality. Just because you've never experienced it, you've never seen it, doesn't mean it's not a thing, doesn't mean it doesn't exist. So again, I'm trying to be as objective as possible. I'm trying not to say it is or it isn't. I don't know these things. All I'm saying is, to me, it's very possible that what he said is true. And based on the information that he presented early on, I've got no reason to dismiss him. Yeah, there's things out there that I personally think he might have got wrong. I know there's a lot of contentious issues about the moon being a spaceship. Yeah, well, I can't prove that. I can't disprove it either. Does that, and again, I'm not trying to be this isn't me being contentious. It's just I think what we need to do as a movement is to look at things objectively again. I mean, one of the pieces of advice that I give my friends is, look at things from the perspective of the social engineers, right? They're not looking at it in terms of left and right and forward and backwards. They're looking at it up there, down, right? So they've got the bird's eye view and they're looking at everything from above. That's how it becomes easy for them to engineer us. That's how it becomes easy for them to control us, because they're seeing it from up there, whilst we are surrounded in the muck, right? We are trudging around in the swamp because we cannot see what's in front of us a lot of the time. Smoke and mirrors, if you like.
And it's a part of the education system as well, because, excuse me, cutting in here, but
no, it's okay.
Truth movements, again, not all, and it's easy to make a generalisation, but I think what we've both noticed, Nathan, is that the majority of people are looking for a leader.
Yeah.
And if they want a leader, all they have to do is just look in the mirror. Because it's taking self-responsibility. And we had a long discussion about this some time ago.
Yeah, a few times, I think.
Yeah, quite a few times, where I have got no time for government. And you quite rightly said that, well, I don't know, but it would need this kind of a generation or two or several generations to get this kind of brainwashing that we've had from school, that you look for a leader to be responsible for yourself. That's the thing. And societies that look for a leader generally screw themselves up. I mean, when you look at anthropology, I knew a girl that was an anthropologist. We studied it. It's a very interesting subject. And she said that majority of tribes that had chiefs and things like that were warlike, were aggressive, whereas the tribes that didn't have chiefs were quite peaceful, placid, quite advanced, spiritually advanced. Whereas the ones that had chiefs and a hierarchy system were spiritually back to front.
Can I interject at this point then? Again, I get where you're coming from, and I mean, you know, I'm gonna counter argue it, but I'm gonna agree with you first, right? To try and balance it out. You know, if people get sick of me saying it, right? If we had a moral population that knew right from wrong, that knew how to behave correctly, right? Then in that kind of society, you don't need leadership. You don't need a hierarchy. You don't need a matrix structure. You don't need any of that, right? People would know what's right from wrong, and they would respect each other, etc. Unfortunately, we are so far away from that at the minute. We've been so diverted away from understanding, you know, basic principles of right and wrong and morality and ethics and things like that. We've been so driven away from it that most people's interpretation of morals and ethics are not morals and ethics. They are subjective views that they get from religion, politics, political groups, you know, activist groups, things like that. So again, even that's thrown them off kilter. So in an ideal world, in an ideal society, I don't think we should have matrix structures. You know, but what I would counterbalance that with is that there's a difference between leaders and rulers. Does that make sense? Right. So
I agree with you. The best leaders lead from the back, not the front. Look at Gandhi.
Do they?
I've got no time for Gandhi, but he had a very because I'm very interested in graphology, and most of these leaders, you know, look at me. But Gandhi had a very small signature, very introvert type thing, which is goes against the grain. But I think that going back to these truth groups, what I have noticed is a lot of them, whether it's specific areas or not, I don't know, but people are like cold springs that have been wound up and wound up and wound up, ready to unleash any unsuspecting victim.
Yeah.
And several, not all, have become cult-like, where everybody with hive minds. Everybody believes what someone tells them. Everybody.
But this is where critical thinking comes in, though, isn't it? Sorry to interrupt, mate, but
it's okay.
Yeah, they do tend to follow. I mean, you know, the truth movement say we're not sheep, and yet they adopt something like QAnon's, where we go one, we go all. Well, that's sheep mentality. That is following the herd. It's just swapping one, Pied Piper, if you like, for another. It's swapping one dickhead for another, and so they're just being misled by somebody else, right? So, they do fall into herd mentality. They do fall into hive mind, and unfortunately, this is where we need to discuss the real critical thinking, what it really means to think critically, to observe, to be objective, to be, to question yourself, to challenge yourself, to challenge your beliefs, to challenge what you think you know. That's critical thinking, right? That right there. Critical thinking is not just a case of, oh, well, I heard it on the BBC, therefore it must be false, right? That's where we've got to, if you like, correct people. The truth movement, especially. Look, the truth movement's supposed to be, the freedom fighters of the world, the ones that are supposed to be leading by example. At the minute, we're not. It's embarrassing.
You got to think, why is it? I mean, I like what Asperger's as Fudge says: leaders lead by example.
Right.
I'm thinking.
Right.
Yes.
So again, right. Coming back to what I was going to say about this, I think we do need leaders. Right, hear me out for the minute, because society is in such a rut. It's been so misled and diverted and sent down the wrong path and psyoped and mind control and brain, all of this, right? It is now so bad. Yeah, we do need leaders. We don't need rulers. We don't need tyrants. We don't need cult leaders. We need leaders. We need people who know their stuff, who've got their morals and principles in the right place, who know what they're doing, who people will listen to, so that we can correct our course, right? Because otherwise, we're going to be in a digital prison within 10 years' time and try getting out of that one, right? And again, this is not me trying to fearmonger or be negative, right? What I'm saying is, yeah, we do need leaders, but we need genuine leaders, not Pied Pipers, not people who are going to lead you down the garden path. You're going to need to look for people who have humility and dignity and integrity, and people who know their stuff, people who will be questioned, people who can look at their own knowledge, their own opinions, and go, okay, I might be wrong, right? You don't need the ones who say I'm never wrong, because those tend to be the wrong ones to follow. You need to look at people who have a shred of sincerity, the ones who will stand on principles, the one who do know their subjects.
That's right. But excuse me cutting in here, but people who
carry on.
Love the people they're supposed to represent. And that's the thing. We have traitors. We don't say the words treason anymore. We should do, and call them out for what they're traitors. We want someone who would have to have an armed guard rather than 24/7, who's very, very brave, who literally doesn't tell people what they want to hear, but tells them the truth.
Right.
You see, when you look at people like Farage is very good at telling people. So was Blair. Telling people what they want to hear, very good at it, and then they get elected, and the reason they do the opposite is because they're controlled by the usury scammers. That's it, and it has been like that for years. But now, what I like, Mark Anthony has said something interesting here. He says, Jay, I have heard of it. I remember hearing an interview a few years back with a lady called Dr. Catherine Horton. Was she that attractive lady who worked on the CERN project, was it?
I don't know. Her name rings a bell, actually.
She was claimed she was a targeted individual. Yeah, she was a bit rather attractive, So.
Can I just hang on before right.
Sorry,
that term, right?
Just fix my thought there, right. That's it, right. Go on.
Well, you're getting lost again now, Chris.
No.
The idea, right? Targeted individual. That phrase terrifies me for reasons that I'm not going into. Yes, it is a thing, and if you are, I'm trying to do this in a non-fearful way, right? Anybody in the last 5 years, and well, not necessarily 5 years. I mean, there's a lot more in the last 5 years. Anybody in the last 5, 10, 20 years who's been active, speaking the truth, trying to get things done, trying to get out there. If you are not on a watch list, you're not doing it right. And now I'm trying to put that as nice as possible. Probably everyone in this chat has been monitored at some point. Everyone in there, if you've attended a protest, if you've attended truth groups, standing apart groups, anything like that, I guarantee you, they have your name, they have your address, they know what you're about, they probably know more about you than your parents, right? That's not. I'm not trying to be fearful. I'm just trying to be objective and realistic here, right? That's it.
Who's that? Actually, there was a comedian. Oh, what was her name now? she's a horrible lefty one. You know, she's got short hair and she's about as funny as
They all
watching
do, don't
Woodward.
they?
Okay, anyway, she did this program when I had a television, so going back a few years because I haven't had a television since 2010, in which she said that everyone has a dossier on them that's bigger than the book 1984.
Would it surprise you?
Yeah. Now I don't know. I can't prove it. I don't know. That's what she said. Can't think of a bleeding name. Anyway, but I was quite interested in that. Yeah, everybody's got a dossier on them that's bigger than the book 1984.
See, that sounds like.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was going to say that sounds like. I forgot the name. Linda Moulton Howe. Is that the one who said it?
No. She's got brown glasses. She looks bloody ugly.
Well, yeah, she's not a comedian. Like, I mean, the person I'm thinking of. No, I don't know, mate. But it wouldn't surprise me at all. Can we go through some comments? Let's deal with some of these
let's go because there's some really good comments in here.
Yeah, there's a lot actually.
Now, should we be able to question all historical events? Yes.
Why not?
Precisely. And there's one particular historical event which obviously I cannot go into.
Yeah.
People have been jailed for questioning. Well,
you mean the other thing beginning with H?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
that one. Yeah.
Yes. Hilton Hotel. That's what we're questioning. A Hilton Hotel. That was what it. No, I'm joking. No, but seriously, there is some historical thing, and in people, there's name calling like children in a playground. But the real fact of the matter is that in wars there are genuine victims, and when there's people making money out of hyping something up, then that is an insult to the genuine victims on both sides.
Yeah.
So that's the way I look on it. And to me, regardless of religion or race, a person who is a victim of totalitarianism, I'm on the side of that person. Because if there are innocent people and they've done nothing wrong, and when I talk about totalitarian, I'm talking about both sides in the war. I don't take sides. I'm talking both sides. Because in World War I and World War II, both sides committed terrible atrocities.
Yeah, they did. Well, both sides got played.
That's right.
So,
but the thing is, history is written. History books are written by the victors. That's why French history books have got so many blank pages. But sorry,
that was mean. That was cruel. That was a cruel blow.
All our French audience.
I like the French. You leave the French alone.
I might be in court next week. Some Frenchman might have taken offence at that.
So go on.
I know. That's life, but not as we know it. Good evening, inmates. Hello.
I think we need to add a new show in here, Chris. This one seems to be rather popular for reasons like...
It does, doesn't it? It does, yeah. And let's have a look. Well, I think I'm rather happy tonight because Rosie passing her MOT. And she's not bad for a 1989 model. And I'm not talking about women, I'm talking about my car. Because my cars always have female names to them. So Rosie was made in 1989. Now that's a real classic, isn't it? Good year. Good year. For
2025, they're all gender fluid, so you'd have to call them Bob, but there'd still be a lady. It's like
yes, yes. Do you remember Rowan Atkinson? I've got trouble with Bob. Remember that one? What is it now? Blackadder.
Blackadder 2.
I've got trouble with Bob.
The manservant.
The manservant. Well, okay, well, unzip your flyers and put it on the table and have a look at it. Sorry. That creased me out, that did. Now, we've got Jay has said there is a massive effect to discredit SRA survivors. They're telling us the truth. Oh, yes, we're going back to that lady. I wonder if it is the one that I kind of fancy, Dr. Catherine Horton. I really quite fancied her. Yeah, she's very nice.
Bloody hell, Chris.
I know. Down boy. Well, I like what's that other one? Dr. Sam. She's nice as well, isn't she? She's a New Zealand doctor.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm saying
I
that.
know,
I'm
it's terrible,
saying
isn't it?
that.
You know. Well, bring a little bit of culture into the show. Why not?
Well,
And now back to
or
our
culture. Come
culture.
on, come
Yes.
on. Oh wait.
Um,
Um,
and a pair. Oh
actually,
yes, I
actually,
agree.
just sorry, just one more thing, because I've got a big blazing light in the army for some reason, which is, I mean, it is very
Certainly,
exceptionally bright. I
you
might
deal
turn,
with
I
that.
might turn that off. Yeah, just one of the most occult things. Um, that people completely overlook. I know you're looking at the light there. Is the sun. I mean, it's such a massive occult symbol, that has so many ties into everything. I mean, seasons, holidays, gods, goddesses, things like this,
Japanese flag.
cycles. Well, yeah,
Japanese
even that,
flag.
even that.
Mm.
Well, there's actually a few flags. I think the Macedonian flag as well is another obvious example.
Mm.
But there's tons of stuff out there. I mean, all right, if you want to call symbolism, see all these companies and all these have a look at company logos, right? Look at I don't know, Toyota, Nissan, things like that, right? Look at I mean, you've got Saturnian symbolism in there, you've got sun symbolism in there, you've got earth symbolism in there. It's quite literally everywhere. This is why I say okay, the occult might be hidden from view, but it's hidden from view in plain sight, which is why it's the greatest story ever, never told, right? Because it's always told, it's just never
Mm.
told that it's told, right? So
Right.
if you look at it like that, but again, what is the sun? What's the solar system? What is Saturn? The rings of Saturn, things like that. These are all things that we find in nature. This is all, the natural universe that we are trying to understand, and occult knowledge through mystery schools and things like this, schools, and
Skulls,
secret
yes.
societies. They know this. This is. I mean, look at a Freemasonic hall. Look at how it's set out. There's no lights in the north. There's no candles in the north of the lodge. Why is that? Because the sun doesn't go into the north, right? So it's east, south, west, right? So it's things like that that they're looking at. The checkerboard pattern on the floor. That's so many different things. You've got base consciousness. You've got black and white thinking. You've got splitting. You've got dichotomy, dialectics. All of that is what that represents. You've got the columns. Jachin and Boaz, right? You find all this in Masonic lodges. A lot of this is linked back to solar symbolism, lunar symbolism, seasons. Good God, I mean, even biology, basic biological principles, male, female aspect, things like that, right? So all of that is embedded within a Masonic lodge. It's, so it's hidden, but within plain sight, So
It made me think because there's a Masonic Lodge near where Masonic Lodge, I like that one.
Hodge.
Masonic Lodge. Oh yes, no, that's the Falkland version. It's a Masonic Lodge.
Exactly.
No, but yes. So no, but there's a Masonic Lodge near.
I'm going to turn the light off. It's a bit
near where I live, and its entrance faces east, and the north side is blanked off.
Yeah, because the sun it doesn't go to the north, does it? Unless you're in the southern hemisphere, in which case, I'm just saying it can't be flat if that's the case, which is the case. I mean, think about it. But yeah, I mean, the sun doesn't go into the north, does it? Unless you're, extreme latitude. But I mean,
that's interesting, isn't it? And
yeah.
Now we got here.
There's a couple of good ones here, by the way.
Okay, far away.
Can we go to Hachi Hachi's latest one?
Certainly.
Let's play with this one.
Hachi Hachi's latest. Hang on, I better start because someone wants to talk about the showers in the Hilton Hotel.
I mean, if that turns you on, mate, I mean, you go for it.
No, I think you're talking about something else. Some historical
I know.
About.
It's the double H that we're not allowed to speak about on
Yes.
YouTube. So we need to kind of bypass that one, unfortunately.
Is this
Sorry,
the one?
mate.
That's all right. All church altars faced east.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know.
Well, what rises in the east?
The sun rises in the east, isn't
The
it?
sun rises in the east, right? Christ is a massive sun symbol. It's sun symbolism.
Because that's why they say the Son of Christ, S-U-N, not S-O-N.
There you go. The Son of God.
So
the light of the world, It's
in the southern hemisphere, I suppose they'll face west.
Mm-hmm.
Because the sun rises in the west in the southern hemisphere.
Yeah. Unless you're a flat earther, in which case it doesn't make much sense, but there you go.
Oh,
so
no,
I couldn't.
no,
right, I know that's a dig.
that's
I'm
right,
sorry.
yes.
I apologise. I know. Sorry, my bad. I don't.
Yes.
No, I'm not. I'm not
No,
going
we're
to
supposed
do
to have
that. No.
water over the top of us, aren't we? That's why it rains. Because someone digs a hole in it occasionally. It's a psst, and it rains. Sorry.
Well,
uh,
yeah, I'm going to leave flat Earth for now. We can touch on that in a couple of weeks when we can have a round table discussion, a friendly debate.
yes.
So go on, what's
Yes.
this one then?
A Dark Song is a very interesting film for
Okay.
people interested in the occult ritual magic. Yes.
Not familiar with that, so that might have to
I've
be
never heard of it.
yeah. I'll have a look into that and see what I can. Yeah.
Yes.
Here's one for you as well.
Hmm.
I was talking to somebody about this the other day, about Superman and Star Wars, right? So a lot of people in my generation were brought up with Superman and Star Wars.
Mm.
And what people don't realize is both of those films are as occulted as it gets, right? I mean,
Really?
oh God, yeah, the color schemes in right. Okay, think about this, right? Let's take Star Wars first. What's the main protagonist? Who's the main protagonist of Star Wars?
What was the Dark Star? It was Darth Vader, wasn't it?
Oh my goodness, right? Okay, right. I'm gonna forget that I've heard it. Right. Okay, it was Luke Skywalker,
Oh yeah,
right?
sorry, I got
Right.
muddled up. Yeah, sorry, it was
Yeah.
Luke Skywalker. Yeah,
So
and his
so
daddy,
so it's
his daddy was Darth Vader, wasn't he?
Darth Vader. Darth Vader, right? So I'm gonna
Oh,
dissect this
Vader.
one.
No, that
Vader.
was his brother-in-law, Nader.
Oh
So
yeah, sure.
Vader, yeah. So
I know it did. But right, okay. So look at what they're telling us in the films, right? What is it, right?
yeah.
First of all, Luke, which is another word for light,
Mhm.
and then Sky Walker, right? So the light that walks across the sky in an arc, right? There's a story arc. There's a hero's journey going on there. There's an arc across the sky, right? So there's the rising sun, film one. There's the peak sun where and then he gets betrayed and loses a hand and he's
Yeah.
so then he falls and then he rises again in Return of the Jedi. That Luke Skywalker is solar symbolism. It's what color lightsaber does he have? Blue for the sky, right? So blue for, if you look at the chakras, right? So you've got the color spectrum, right? So what are the two opposites of the color spectrum? You've got the blue shift and the red shift, right? So naturally they oppose one another. You've got the red, which opposes the blue. Well, Darth Vader, who was the father of Luke Skywalker, right? He carries a red lightsaber. So then you've got to ask, well, if Luke Skywalker is the son, who's Darth Vader, his father? Well, Darth Vader translates to dark father, which if we look into mythology and the occult, you have Set, right? The dark god, the god of the darkness, the one that's, it's the sun that has fallen, the sun that is, right? So that was the previous sun, but he's fallen to the dark side, right? This is where it all comes from, dark side, the nighttime, which is why he's gone to fear and darkness, and all of that is associated with Darth Vader. Does that make sense?
It makes sense,
Right?
yes. And then you got Superman, haven't you? He's
Superman. Well,
blue, isn't it?
brilliant, right? So you've got the red and blue color scheme, so you got them both in there, like my walls, which I get a lot of criticism from, don't I, Holly?
Yeah.
It's great though. I like I like my walls, right? Okay, so Superman, he has a name, doesn't he? So he's he was born on a different planet, a red sun. So there's the red sun that was destroyed. So that's going into darkness, right? So Krypton's red sun, and so what you have there is his name, his birth name, his Kryptonian name was Kal-El, right? So that means Kal is sun and El is God, right? So if you look at the word El in mythology, you've got son of God. So there's your son of God symbolism again. It's written on his chest. Sun symbolism. It's the sun, but it's also a serpentine symbol, right? So you've got the sun and the serpent. So that is on the chest of Superman. He's got the red cape, and again, unfortunately, he's got his undies on the wrong side of his trousers. But we
That's
can
right,
forgive him
yeah.
for that. Right. But I mean, there's just two examples. Somebody mentioned Lord of the Rings earlier. Tolkien knew his stuff, right? Again, anybody who's familiar with Tolkien, right? I mean, look at he wrote a book called The Silmarillion. In the first two chapters of that, I mean, if you can just anybody who's interested in the occult, go and get the first two chapters of The Silmarillion by J.R.R. Tolkien, right? And just read it and it'll blow your minds, because it literally, it's almost like a manual, a guidebook as to how the universe was created, and it's absolutely brilliant the way that he's done it. They constructed the universe, and you've got the discordant angel, which turns out to be the bad guy, which then again there's your occult symbolism again. I think it's Melkor to start with, but then eventually it's they get rid of him after so many cycles of hammering away at him. So the whole mythology of Lord of the Rings is pretty much occult knowledge. So there you go. I hope that
That's
helps. I mean,
interesting.
there's tons, mate. There's absolutely tons. I mean, I like my films, but I know Hollywood's got some pretty dark angles and aspects built into it. Yeah,
Well,
I'm not daft. I'm aware of that. But
look, that's right.
yeah,
But well, for example, another dark occult thing is, do you know the beginning of this well-known rhyme? Cock Robin.
go on. So,
Gee, what's this up? Gee, what's this up my arse, Batman?
God, Jesus. No comment. No comment. No. Well, actually, let's look at this. Right, you've just said a rhyme, nursery rhyme, right?
That's right.
Right, you've got nursery rhymes, you've got fairy tales, you've got Brothers Grimm and Hans Christian Andersen, and if you go back into the Greek fairy tales and stuff like that. All of that, well, maybe not every single poem or rhyme or whatever, but you know what? A lot of that is occult symbolism. A lot of it. Three Little Pigs, occult.
Right. Three Blind Mice.
Snow White, Three Blind Mice. All of that's occult. It's embedded, and you'll find it in mythology. You'll find it in religion. It's everywhere, right? But again, the idea is that they cover it up so that it confutes people. It confuses people's minds. It distracts them. It diverts them so that they go off on their own tangent. And they're easy to confuse. They're easy to control and manipulate. That's why they cover it up. That's why they hold it to themselves. It's got nothing to do with magical ritual. Well, I mean, you can, there is an aspect that is magical rituals and dark stuff, but so.
Well, somebody put here. Where is it now?
But Three Little Pigs, hero's journey, but in a weird way.
Now, Joe says not all Masons are bad. It's that I agree with you. I mean, I worked in an office once where there's only three of us that weren't Freemasons. I've never been one. I never want to be one. My neighbour was one. Very nice sort of character, very helpful man. It's the higher up ones that are the problem. The lower levels have no idea what goes on above. I agree with you. I'm not. They're like the Boy Scouts, quite honestly. But what would attract anybody to join them? I don't know. As I say, I've worked with people who are Masons, very nice people. My neighbour's a very nice person, but I just can't understand what would attract someone. Someone said to me, I want you to join an organisation full of blokes where you do rituals. I'd be off. I wouldn't want to have anything to do with it. But if they said it's full of women and they want one man for them to do their rituals, I thought, bloody hell, my trouser leg would be rolled up.
I'm sure it would, Chris. Yeah. or your leg would be rolled up, as I've said in my earlier.
Yeah, well, your leg would be rolled up.
Your leg would be rolled up. Well, right. So, in line with that comment, let's go to the latest one that says it's not the higher up ones; it's the ones that go through the side doors. Now, that one is probably more accurate. That's a more accurate one, because I've known people who've been on the Royal Arch, as part of the York Rite of Freemasonry, right? And I've known people, and to say that they don't know half as much as you'd expect them to know is an understatement. So yeah, I think even if you do manage to go through the side orders or the I can't remember what they refer to them as, but there's higher orders in Freemasonry, but even then, you're not guaranteed. You're not a guaranteed member of the so-called Illuminati, right? That's not how it works. I suspect a lot of it's to do with your bank balance, and a lot of it's to do with your blood. Your family line. I think that's probably the more pivotal part of that. So again, this is not an attack on Masonry. This is not an attack on Freemasons. This is not an attack on truthers. All I'm trying to do is to bring some kind of objective understanding of the world around us and explain that as best as I can through the occult. And believe me, it is everywhere. It is. It's everywhere.
I agree with you, but personally believe that Freemasonry, anybody who's a public servant, it should be illegal for them to be a member of a secret organisation, because
Yeah.
and so if they want to stand in the back of the Dog and Duck pub and do some funny chants, and that's entirely up to them. But they can't be a public servant, because surely, and also in industry, if you run a business of say more than so many employees, it should be, again. I don't like laws and regulations, but the trouble is, it's a conflict of interest, especially in the judiciary and police force and things like that. A total conflict of interest, and I think it's also a lot of snobbery. I mean, I know someone that could do this. I mean, I got a Masonic handshake once. Seriously, I think it must have been a scratch my arse or pick my nose or something at the wrong time. It was some symbol or something. This bloke sort of started tapping my wrist. What the bleeding hell's right?
I mean, you could have played along. You could have just, done some funny.
I could have
Anyway.
back, but trouble is, you might say, "Oh, drop your trousers now." I'm like, "Oh, bloody hell, is that part of the ritual?" And Jay says, "P Diddy is a Mason, is he?"
I suspect the vast majority of the music industry and Hollywood and big business and CEOs and corporations, I mean, take your pick. I mean, they're probably a lot of them are Masons. But again, that doesn't mean they're bad. It doesn't mean they're bad guys.
Well, look at Laurel and Hardy. They were Freemasons. Every astronaut that's supposed to have landed on the moon, which I don't believe, has been a Freemason. John Wayne was a Freemason. Also, Harold Lloyd was a Freemason. There's loads. Bob Monkhouse was a Freemason.
I mean, but
Jim Davidson's a Freemason.
I'm surprised.
Yeah.
But
he wrote about it, how marvellous it's helped him with his alcoholism. That saved him from his boozing. But although I don't really rate Jim Davison as a particularly good comedian, personally,
I'm not sure he's a good example. I mean, he was quite funny-ish, but I'm not.
He was funny years ago, but he lost it. And it's a bit like Billy Connolly. He was good when he was in his 20s and 30s, but he's lost it now because he just swears. And to me, anybody can swear. All right, putting an occasional word in for a joke, that is necessary, yes. But effing and blinding all the time, no, you don't need it.
I've got no defense, mate, because I swear like a trooper. I think the reason I do it is because I was being rebellious towards my mother when I was a teenager. So it was kind of like, oh, she doesn't want me to swear. The school doesn't want me to swear, so I'm gonna fucking swear, right? That's my outlook on it. It's like, I wish I didn't swear as much.
Well, but we all swear. I mean, let's face it. I mean, we're all human. I mean, if I knock my toe up, I'm not going to go, "Oh, pray, I've just knocked my toe up." But the fact of the matter is, when you listen to Billy Connolly's act, it's just F's and blinds. And this other chap, what's his name now? Northern chap. He F's and blinds. But I think innuendo, double meaning, is far skillful. I mean, I'll give you an example now. Julian Clary was a very clever comedian, because he came on and he said, "I do like a warm." Everybody's clapping and said, "I do like a warm hand on my entrance."
Oh, yeah.
That is, I think, one of the funniest ones. My father was alive at the time, and both of us was creased up with laughter. It was when he did a sponsored parachute jump, and he said to this chap, "Do I go on the front or the back?" Bloke said, "Oh, you go on the front." He said, "I think that's best."
Fucking hell. You've done it now. You got me swearing. Can we go to Holly's comment here? I can't highlight it. Where do we find occult symbolism? Right. I'm gonna right. Give me 2 minutes. I'm gonna get a few examples of it.
Where?
It's about 1, 2, 4, 4. Right.
That's it.
Talk to the audience for a minute. I'm gonna just grab 3 random things. Right. 2 minutes.
Righto.
There's one that comes to mind straight away.
Well, almost everywhere, really, when you think about it, if you can sort of find it. But no, in buildings there's a lot. If you go to the City of London, you will find a load of occult buildings there, and it's very, very creepy in the city. and all round London is all occult symbolism now. Now, another one, Asperger's as Fudge said, look at CERN opening ceremony. Yes, you're right. That was
Right, I've
really
got
creepy.
3 random things from my bathroom here. Right, I'm going to show you. So I'm hoping that Holly can keep me right on this one, actually. Right, okay. This is 3 items from my bathroom that I've just picked up. Right. First one, and this one's going to be bloody obvious, so that I hope you don't get done for copyright infringement or anything, right? That's a soap bottle, right? Can you see what it's overtly telling you? Right? Freemasonic square and compass, right? There we go. Right?
Yes, yeah.
With a pyramid.
Oh, yes.
With a capstone.
Yes. I
Right?
didn't see.
Oh, that's
Yes,
just one.
yes.
That's just one, right? These are just 3 things I picked up at random, right? Saturnian symbolism. There it is, right? TCP, so with a nice ring going around it. Yeah, I don't know whether you can say that properly, right? That's a Saturnian ring. All right, that's just, again, this is just like 3 random things. Then you've got this one. I'm going to need Holly to help me out on this one because you've got this little symbol here for shampoo, right?
Yeah.
By the way, the number of 6s and 3s that you're going to find on these bottles usually they're all over the bloody place as well. But anyway, so here we've got like it's not showing up right. See that the 3 wavy lines. So this is earth, air, fire, water. So I think this is the air sign in occult symbolism. I might be wrong. So air, hair, top, air, right? So air signs, right? So I mean that's probably a little bit less obvious. What else we got? Black mirrors, right? Scrying instruments. Make sure that can turn on, right? Okay, scrying instrument. That's a magical instrument. It's a black mirror. What else we got? Look at if you take your credit cards out, right? And obviously I've got to be careful how I do this because it's got personal information, right? Mastercard. Look at the 2 overlapping circles, right? You've got a
yes.
What's the word I'm looking for? Torus field. You've got 2 suns. You've got a dark and a light sun, right? So there's another one. I mean, it quite if you have a look at book publishers, film publishing companies, Paramount, it's okay, it's a mountain, but it's also a triangle, it's also a pyramid, right? So it's things like this, quite literally everywhere. I mean, if you know what you're looking for, you'll see it. I mean, I'm not saying it's in every single thing, but I mean, it's pretty overt. I mean,
Mark Anthony says Disney films are full of occult symbolism.
Yeah, look at the Disney logo. I mean, it's got 666 in there for one thing, and you've got the Mickey Mouse ears again. There's the dual circles overlapping. There's a ton of stuff in there.
Asperger's as Fush says, these products are bad for you, man.
Well, I'm not going to disagree with that, although TCP smells nice. But they're full of toxic chemicals, so that's the other thing. Yeah, they are. These are just like random things that you'll find anywhere. Yeah, right. Look at car manufacturers, the badges that you see on the back of cars. The amount of the chevrons. You got Saturnian symbol. You got sun symbols in them. I mean, just take a look.
The Toyota symbol that is like the sun.
Yeah.
The old one, and the other one is Volkswagen. I often thought that was a bit weird.
Which one?
Volkswagen. That's a bit
Volkswagen.
Weird,
well, I mean, you could invert it, and you've got the double M, right? But instead of 2 W's, it's Volkswagen. You got the double. I don't know. That one's clutching at straws, I think. But you could do that if you like. Another one, emojis on your phone. Yes. They're all. They're what's the word for that? Sigils.
Can't think of it.
Sigils. They're based on sigils, right? And sigils are used in the occult. A lot of them are associated with demons and demonology, and the wisdom of Solomon and things like that. The names of demons, right? The emojis are pretty much based on that. That's another thing. Again, that's just on your scrying instrument, your black mirror, the one that everyone's now obliged to carry around with them. There you go. So just use Willow. I got to be honest, Holly, it really does smell nice. I mean, I know, guilty. But I didn't realise that
because it's a smell of willow. Just use willow.
I didn't know that. Thank you, because I really do like that smell actually. But there you go. I don't know what that says about me, but
Well, I like the smell of greens, and I don't know why girls are not attracted to me.
Chris, mate, we're gonna have to get you fixed up, mate. I think we need to get you fixed for your sanity, and I think for your audience's sanity, maybe a little.
Yes, yes,
So
yes.
we do know a little
Uh,
dicky bird who can potentially do that. I think so.
yes. Now, a lot of it says here, a lot of big tech companies and corporations logos feature
Yeah.
That's right. Yes,
Yep.
yes.
Yeah.
Um, now, what's this? James Cole says, check out Freeman Fly on the subject.
Well,
Don't
that
know
one's
where
gone
we are.
back a while, isn't it? I mean, it's the same as somebody mentioned Jordan Maxwell earlier. Now, Jordan Maxwell was great. Again, he got one or two things wrong. I think not much in the grand scheme of things, but Jordan Maxwell was fantastic at explaining a lot of this, especially
Mm.
in terms of sun symbolism and deities and things like that. Yeah, he knew his stuff. Sadly missed, but
Yeah.
again, Michael Tassarian. If you want to know about the natural world, go and read his books. He can tell you about trees. He can tell you about flowers. He can tell you about gods and
Oh,
goddesses.
marvelous. Mm.
Just the basics. It's all there, and this stuff's relatively easy to still get hold of at the minute. So
Well,
there you go.
the thing is that the other one was Eustace Mullins. He was bloody brilliant. Eustace Mullins is
Yeah,
years ahead of his time.
yeah.
Now we've got a body deodorant is full of aluminium, or if you're in America, we'll speak American for you. Aluminum.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
See, sort of full of
Um,
aluminum.
I'm
It is
I'm gonna
literally, yeah.
correct I'm gonna correct him on this one because I know where he's
Mm.
coming from, but that's only antiperspirant. And the reason antiperspirant is toxic is because the little aluminium particles that come out, they go into your pores and they block it up, which then
That's
causes a,
right.
a build up behind the pore, which then causes complications and
Mm.
toxicity effectively, which it's not very nice if it gets out of hand. So yeah, especially if you're going to use deodorants, avoid antiperspirants completely. Avoid them. They're horrible.
I
I mean, it's
use
not for
Pit
me to tell
Rock.
you what to use, but you know.
Pit Rock is pretty good. That's natural salt. You get Pit Rock. But what
Yeah.
gets me when you go into Savers, when I buy my bicarbonate of soda in Savers, the girl behind there says, "She said, would you like some deodorants or aftershave?" I said, well, do I smell that bad? I mean, they're always trying to flog you deodorants and aftershaves. Do you find out if you go to Savers shop?
Um, I, I, I mean, we've got one up here, but I
Mm.
hate shopping with a passion, so I go as few times. I don't know, but well, somebody's trying to flog me a tent the other day, and it's just like, honest. Oh yeah, it's a really good tent. It's self.
Really?
Yeah, it opens out and it's like, yeah, it'll blow away at the first sign of a wind. This first
Yeah.
tiny gust of breeze, it'll be gone anyway. But yeah, we don't generally get. One of
Mm.
the things that bugs me in shops is, when you pay with your card, don't judge me,
Yeah.
truthers. I know I pay with card, deal with it. Play with cash as well. Right. They bring up on the screen,
Mm.
press red or green for charity. It's like, no, I'm not giving to your charities because it all goes to the
Oh, yeah, I
banks.
don't give to
Right.
charity. That's right. I don't give to
But what
charities. Yeah.
what what cheek? I mean,
I
what
know.
are they thinking? The presumptuousness of these corporations that think you're just going to say, "Oh yeah, I'll give you a little bit towards your charity that's going straight to the banks." No, I don't bloody think so. And I make a point whenever I'm in a shop of saying to them, "Do you know why I refuse to give you to your charities?" And yes, I tell you what, some of them look shocked when you tell them where the money doesn't go and where it does go. So
Asperger's folks sounds like Christie tonight in Fuck 'em all. And that's-
well, I mean that was great. That was great.
I
Maybe
tell you,
yeah.
I tell you another one that gets me. Do you know of any charity that ceased running because it solved the problem it's set up to solve?
Exactly. What does that tell you?
I don't know of any. I mean, the bloke for the Red Cross was collecting a couple of years back, and he was a
Mm.
student, obviously. And I said, well, it's been going since 1848. Don't you think they sort of could have solved it by now? Oh, we're getting there. I said, yeah, how much longer?
How long does it take, right?
um,
It's well,
now,
what's the other one? Right, okay. I've got to be careful when I say this, right? The K charities, of which
mhm.
there are an abundance,
Oh, yes,
they
yes, I know
they
the
are
ones, yeah.
legally forbidden from finding a cure to the
I
big K,
agree.
right?
The
It's no, it's
1939
in their small print.
Act.
Yeah,
Yes, and also the 1939 Act
yeah.
for it. Yes,
So
that's
what
right.
are they doing with all that money? I wonder because there seems to be an awful lot of them, doesn't it?
Yes.
You know.
But
So
Michael Corns has said you can't hate anything with a passion. That's-
I can.
But there's no such thing as common sense, because if it was common, there wouldn't be no sense, would there? Think about it. Common sense, you know.
I
Now,
now refer to that as an endangered superpower. Common
yes,
sense. So,
yes.
so
Willow, Barefoot Forage says Willow is an anti-inflammatory, muscle, joints, gout, arthritis, lumbago, and pain remover. In my opinion, it's the heart protective properties.
yeah, I
Yes.
might need
Do,
some of
do,
that.
you,
So,
do you the
yeah.
bloke who goes into an ice cream parlour? He goes, oh, I'd like an ice cream, please. And the woman says, yes. What flavours you want? You want vanilla, raspberry? I said, uh, 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 I'd have, I'll have a vanilla, please. She said, the crushed nuts? He said, no, lumbago. Sorry.
Oh God.
Sorry.
I'm wondering, right? You could write a joke book, right? Because I mean, for every letter of the alphabet, you got about 10 jokes for it, I reckon. I mean, it'd sell though.
But I was brought up with it because three of my uncles were stand-up comedians. And also there was a comedian on my dad's side as well. They were on my mum's side. On my dad's side there was a comedian as well. He's
Well, there you
my
go.
dad's brother-in-law. Yeah, he was cracking gags all the time.
So, hey, I know a publisher if you want to write a book on jokes. I'm just saying. Nathan Lucius,
Well,
PhD.
no, I actually
Anyway.
am writing a book on bullshit because I actually think
Nice.
that if you want to look up spellings, look up a dictionary. And different meanings for words as thesaurus, or, you know, but there's no reference book for bullshit. Because if someone's bullshitting you, you can sort of look it up and say, oh, page 36, you know, you show them how the bullshit. And I always think that bullshit is a private. You think about it. If you've got an actor along to act something for you, it costs a lot of money, and you're getting a free act in front of you. So you should sort of act a bit like an art critic. Yes, when someone's bullshitting you, because they're putting a free act on for you. So they're entertainers. So if you look at it like that, someone's bullshitting, you know, because I've looked at bullshit. What it is, it's actually artificial truth with an expiry date.
I like that.
Yes,
You need to copyright that one.
Yeah.
Artificial truth with an expiry date. I like that.
Yeah.
That's good. Okay,
I mean,
copyright.
the better the bullshit, the longer the expiry date. Now, you think
Yeah, we
about it,
do-
World War II bullshit was so good, 80 years later, they're still believing it. Marvellous.
Well, yeah, but I mean, to be fair, you could say that about a lot of our history. I mean, I'm not one of these people who thinks that it's all lies and bullshit and it's all incorrect. No, I don't go for that, but certainly there's a large portion of bullshit embedded within it, isn't there? Let's face it, especially you know. But yeah, I mean,
Well,
you do realize with it being 2025, mate. I mean, your book's going to be about 300 volumes wide. It's there's so much bullshit now. You're spoiled for choice.
well, Chris Mark Anthony says, Chris, why don't you write a fuck 'em all joke book? You're on good fault tonight. I don't know why. I just.
Well, you need to now. So that's two people that have said it.
That's it. Yeah, I think it's because my wigs come back from the dry cleaners, so that's probably cheered me up. You know. Now we got here. Jay says, anyone here also heard of weaponized frequencies and
Voice to skull technology? Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
So do you know what that is? Do you want me to give people right?
Yeah, well,
it's basically
they'll send something in your minds saying, I don't know, jump off that cliff, and you sort of, I'll go and jump off the cliff. Out you go, Yeah.
That is also another one of those real things that it's linked to mind control. I think they discovered that through mind control, messing around with LSD and things like that. I think I might be wrong on that. So if I'm wrong, I apologize. But I'm pretty sure that that's one of the things that came out of that.
And do you know, drugs were started in the American Air Force officially. They gave American airmen during World War II early stages of drugs, you know, and they were pissed out their brain, and that's why. My dad said, we saw them bombing a cemetery. And there was a joke when they captured Germans. The German officer said, when the Germans bomb, we know the Allies get their heads down. When the Allies bomb, we get their heads down. our heads down. When the Americans bomb, everybody gets their
Everyone
heads down.
gets, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
friendly
They
fire.
went
There's
for
nothing friendly
tourists.
about it.
Yeah. I asked Steve this. I said, when there's friendly fire, do they sort of go, bang, sorry, terribly sorry, bang, yes, do apologise,
I mean, are we equating the American military with the stormtroopers? I mean, it's like they aim for the target, but they very rarely hit it. It's to shoot more of their own men than ours, but it's
Well, look
hard.
what happened in Vietnam with fragging. Do you remember that? Most kids didn't want to be there. So if they was going to go out on a very dangerous mission the next day, they'd lob a fragmentation grenade into the senior bloke's tent. I shouldn't laugh, but yeah, it's called
Wow.
fragging. So the senior people were shit scared about, and one of the senior blokes on a documentary said, "Well, where the Viet Cong were, we went the opposite way away from them. We didn't attack them." He said, "I want to look after my own life." He said, "Because if it wasn't the Viet Cong shooting at me, it'd be my own people shooting at me the other side."
Well, again, yeah, drugs, Agent Orange, whatever. I'm not
Yeah.
surprised. I mean, that was a debacle and a half, wasn't it? So, come on then. What else we got? Let's
We got here
have some.
Barefoot Foreigner. In relation to Willow, what would be the best way to take this?
I
And
can't really answer that one.
I can't answer
So,
it either. It piggybacks off household appliances. It's everywhere.
yeah.
EMF. And look at battery cars. Bloody, poxy, horrible, excuse my language, bloody electric cars. I hate them. Loathe them. I was talking today in the garage, and I said to the blokes, I said, because I was amongst friends there, because the blokes who MOT'd my car, they're anti-electric car as well. And I said, how long does it take you to an MOT electric car? I said, about 10 minutes. And I said, you might as well, if you're going to spend a lot of money on an electric car, you might as well just burn it on a bonfire. Get about 130 quid, just burn it. Because do you hear about that bloke? He's on YouTube. He bought a Tigra, I think it was, for £150,000. And about 18 months later, this garage offered him £28,000 for it.
Yeah.
So
Apparently, it's more expensive to replace your battery in a I don't even know how that works, but than it is to buy a new car for an electric vehicle. But then equally, they tell us that it's more sustainable whilst digging into the earth and ripping all the lithium out of the earth, which is tearing away national reserves and things like that. Please do explain how electric vehicles are sustainable and good for the environment, because I think, if anything, it proves that they're as detrimental and as harmful as it gets. So, again, there's that common sense thing again. All you've got to do is look at it objectively, and you'll realize just how much shit is rammed down our throats on a daily basis,
Well, it's like driving a vacuum cleaner, basically. I mean, that's what it is a vacuum cleaner motor on wheels. But what gets me is that with these cars, I mean, you've got a fuel source. They reckon the battery's life expectancy is about 5 years. That's it.
Well, I mean, you've seen what happens when these lithium batteries go up, haven't you?
Yeah.
Right. So consider this, right? So this is what people forget, and I really need to start paying attention to this myself, because I'm going to be a hypocrite. So your mobile phone is a mobile detonation waiting to happen, right? That's got a lithium battery in it. Now, anybody who's familiar with Max Egan, he recounted about 6 years ago where he threw his smartphone onto a road or something, and he said there was a 2-meter explosion from it. And that's so now here's what I want people to bear in mind, right? I would say it's a pretty safe guess to say that 99.9% of people in the UK and all westernized developed nations, however, Eastern developed nations, whatever you want to call it, they'll all have a smartphone in their pocket, right?
Yeah.
Now, going back to what Jay said here about everywhere, piggybacking off EMF frequencies and directed, frequencies, all of these things. Now, we're all carrying a detonation device in our pocket. They can be targeted remotely. They can be hacked remotely. They can be heated up very easily. The radiation that's being kicked off these devices. Somebody was telling me the other day about the latest iPhones being like stupid levels of radiation being kicked off them. If you consider that you are carrying these around next to your legs and your arse, and some people put it down their bra, because that's not going to end well, is it?
Bloody hell.
right? But bearing in mind, not only is your mobile phone a scrying instrument, a black magic instrument, it's whatever you want to call it. It's also you're a walking target.
Yeah.
And believe me, if one of them goes off, you're not surviving. You're going to lose. Well, yeah. I'm going to leave it there because I don't want to trigger the algorithm.
Have you seen those tests they've done on these batteries that they use on push bikes and things like
Go
that?
on.
And they do a nail test, and they got the battery. Say, I don't know, say that's the battery, and they drive a nail through it, and the thing just goes, just explodes.
Whoa.
And if it's a good one, it won't explode. This is the loony thing. This is the thing with these battery cars. Rubbish. I mean, they've got to a point now where diesel cars are so clean. They really are clean. Look at petrol cars. They don't chuck out much pollution. And the reason why people say, oh, the Edwardians, they had battery cars. Yeah, and the reason why petrol and diesel cars knocks the electric cars out of the way is because they're far superior. You've got a better range and everything. I've got nothing against electric cars being one-seaters for doing your shopping in. Perfect. Lead-acid battery, perfect. Dirt cheap. It's a bit like that little, one-seaters, or that would be the best idea. But what they're trying to push now is cycling. Now, cycling in this country, I know, being a cyclist, effectively you cannot cycle in the winter months unless you've got padded trousers. I mean, it's not fun. I mean, this country, we effectively only have about 6 months of good weather, if that. And my bikes are locked away in the shed from about end of October, and they don't come out again until about March at the earliest, or April.
Right.
Because it's too bloody cold.
I mean, again, I suspect they want us to use it for like inner city, as opposed to going out into the.
And it rains a lot in this country. You ever been on a bike when it rains? And you go. Yeah,
well,
I mean.
Explain this one to me, right? Because I don't get this. Isn't the whole purpose of having a bike is that it's it's for fitness and low cost and right. So why have we got bikes with batteries in them all? I mean, is that just, have we become so lazy or what? I mean, what's the deal with that? I don't know.
Because people eat a lot of carbohydrates. That's the reason why. I mean, I ride my bike to keep fit. It's a good way of keeping fit, and also I can't exercise for the sake of exercising. I've got to have an objective. So I'll go down to the shops to buy something or something like that. I have an objective to it. But the other thing is that, yes, it is to keep you fit. But the trouble is, because I ride it for pleasure, I don't find cycling in the rain pleasurable. That's when you need the car. But I look on all these different modes of transport, like tools, like a Swiss Army knife. If I've got a long distance to go, I'll go in my 4-seat, nice, comfortable saloon. If I've got a short distance to go, I'll go in my smart car if it's raining. And if I've got a shorter distance to go, I'll cycle or walk. So they are my options. Now, if they had an electric vehicle where you could just go down to the shops, which had a range of about 20 miles, perfect. I haven't got a problem with that at all. As long as it keeps up the car with other cars, does about 30 or 40 miles an hour, not a problem. Because look at most cars, there's one person in them. So I don't know why we haven't gone down that road. And said, look,
but you've got full spectrum travel there, so
Yeah. Well, that's it. I mean, if you've got longer distance. I mean, could you imagine Steve coming down from up north in his car? If it was electric, you'd have to wait a couple of hours for it to charge at these electric stations. So
yes, but Steve's got basically Steve's car's a massive tank without a turret. So it's but I get what you're saying.
I've seen that. It's a bloody great thing.
It's a bloody lovely car. I mean, it's great. I love getting in it. But there you go. So shall we? Sorry, mate. Just because we've got a Matilda now. I don't think we've ever had Matilda in here before.
Hello, Matilda.
So shall we? I'm happy to stay on a little bit longer, but shall we go through some comments and see if we
Yes,
can
okay. If
just
you
to kind of
if you were to have a minor accident in an electric car, the insurance company will probably write it off, as there is any damage to the battery because of the cost of replacement. I agree with you. And
yeah.
now, Barefoot Foreigner says some of the car logos seem occult. Yes, and
Yeah,
Matilda
they
says
definitely are. Yeah.
hello. So we've had a hi and we've had a hello.
There you go.
So that's
Do,
nice,
do,
isn't it?
do I mean, hi? Do we have any
Hi.
questions or comments or what? What we got?
She's taking off Cliff Richard. Hi.
Oh, hey, Stephen Truth. Hey, mate. You know what? I'm thinking Friday night might be a winner here,
I
because
think it
this
might be a winner,
is
actually.
far more attraction than I thought we were going to get on a Friday night. I mean, this is
Well,
mad.
I thought as I say, I thought it was going to be one bloke and his dog, you know.
Yeah.
And, but
Wow,
it's
okay.
Stephen Truth saying hello, and we got a good one here. Hatchy says German and English airmen were all on amphetamines. Poor old amphetamines. Doesn't take a lot of research. All special forces carry as well to this day to be used in escape situations. Oh my God, all true. I'd like to ask Steve about that, whether he carried amphetamines with him.
I suspect it might. I mean, if you think about it, right? So amphetamines, and I would even say the white powder as well, maybe. Horrible stuff, but there you go. It keeps you. I mean, it keeps you stimulated, doesn't it? The whole idea of amphetamines is to keep you energized, mentally stimulated to keep going. So it would make sense to me that all military areas would have some form of that. So in case they are on a survival exercise or in the middle of a war or middle of enemy territory. I mean, there's any number of reasons. I mean, I guess there's reasons for that. I can kind of understand it actually, from a military perspective. But I certainly wouldn't advocate regular people taking it. I don't see the appeal.
What about the Navy? What about Navy? I mean, I wonder if they're on it. Although you can see whether they're drunk or not, because if you go down to Portsmouth, you see a lot of discharged seamen walking around there.
Nope.
So you see whether they're sort of
no, not commenting.
Did I say something wrong there?
No, wrong. No. Well, let's just move on.
Especially around the red light district.
I'm saying fuck all. Anyway. We've got what is going on here? Look, we've got Paul Mohammed's in the chat now. Hello. What's going on? This is interesting.
Where are we? What's tonight's show about? I have the foggiest idea, mate.
Well, it was about the occult, but as always, we kind of got a bit sidetracked. But
what's this? Is he talking about my flatulence? Asked Burgers as Fudge. May burn down your house if it explodes in your drive. Not covered by house insurance. What if you light a match behind me? If I've eaten cabbage? Oh, sorry, you mean electric cars? Sorry. Paul Mohammed. Hello, Paul. Hey. And,
welcome to the party.
Welcome to the party. That's right. Friday night rocks. Nothing wrong with Mondays either. Thank you. That's very kind.
And don't forget, Stephen, Saturday night's all right for fighting. So there you go.
That's right. Vietnam, they experimented with them too. Oh yeah,
just a bit.
American Army is high, was it? Hi, baby. Yeah.
Well, look at the amount of chemicals that were deployed during that particular conflict, right? I mean, it's
yes.
They had a field day with that one. But,
yes.
So, go on then. Next, what we got?
Yes, she was only the admiral's daughter, but her naval base was always full of. Yes, we won't go on to that one. That other one.
Right. The person. Hold on a minute. Right. So I'm speaking to someone specifically here. I think it's time to get him fixed up. It's getting to the point where it's. I'll leave it there. Actually, there you go.
Right. Anyone?
Well, back on topic. I mean, hey. If anyone, well, I don't think we should go into that for this particular show because that's a whole different area. But if anyone has any more questions about the occult symbolism, Anything that we've mentioned, especially at the earlier part of the show. If anyone's got any comments, questions, etc., get them in now because I'm starting to flag a bit. So
I'm
let's
flagging a lot. I think we've got
yeah.
to go soon. And I'll tell you
Well,
something.
should we give it 5 more minutes and then we'll.
Yeah, I think I'm feeling pretty tired. I mean, I was up at 5 this morning, so I'm feeling
Bloody hell!
yeah.
So,
And because you know what they say, it's 5 o'clock. Because it means oh my God, it's so early. So
I always say it's like a pig's tail. It's like a pig's tail,
Yeah.
isn't it? It's too early.
Yeah.
It's terrible. There you go.
And no, but really, it's a fascinating subject because we both discovered that truth groups ain't what you think they are. Because the first thing that happens if you go along to a truth group, they will want your WhatsApp or Telegram channel, and you'll be bombarded with people telling you what you want to hear. Oh, Dr. So-and-so said this, Mrs. So-and-so said that, and hang on a minute. We got here cult symbolism, and Barefoot Foreigner said, you mentioned playing cards.
Yeah. Right. I'd love to go into that one because playing cards and tarot cards are linked anyway, right? So just quickly, if I've got the presentation there, but by the time I've uploaded it, we'll run out of time. If you look at a bog standard deck of playing cards, you compare that to days, cycles, months, weeks. It's all in there. It's based on the annual cycle. There's a ton of stuff in playing card symbology or symbolism. And
We need
so
a
friend.
show on this.
Well, we do again, but I mean, I've actually got a presentation that delves into this as well as clocks. Anybody who, oh God, go and experiment with a clock. I'm on about the round ones, not the digital ones, obviously, right? Just go and experiment with the numbers on them. Yeah, I've mine's up there. I'm not wearing mine at the minute, but have a look. Just at clocks. I mean, it's my God. I don't even know where to start with that one. It's got so much symbolism in and numerology. And well, there you go. I mean, that looks like it's got it. I'm not commenting on that was.
Actually,
I know you've explained it, but it
Berlin
looks a bit
Olympics, it's a fake. And the
Yeah, I
reason it's a
figured.
fake is because it has a star there and not something else which we can't mention on the show.
I know, but I mean, for somebody looking at that, they'll be going, "How the hell's he got that?" What's
Yes, yes. And that no, it's it was a bloke who was about that high, and he lived over there. It sold it to me.
hell,
So, yes, so there we go.
the double H's are back, the Hilton Hotel.
Yes, Hilton Hotel.
If we, I mean, are we all right doing a couple more shows on this? In the next couple of weeks,
Why
because
not?
again,
We I've got my list here. I'm hoping I've got to do a new guest list, but I just mentioned these couple of things.
yeah, of course, yeah.
Do the occult use voodoo dolls?
Caribbean. What's the word
Could we
I'm
get
looking for?
Keir Starmer voodoo dolls?
Oh, you have to get a strand of his hair first.
Oh, that might not be
Yeah.
so difficult. And you just imagine him standing up with the rostrum going, oh!
Well, he looks like that anyway, though.
Yes. Well, because he apparently, I think he enjoys a Mr. Whippy, doesn't he? Ice cream. I was talking about.
Of course, yeah.
Of course. And let's face it, he looks like the type of man that would suck a fisherman's friend as well. Lozinger.
Constantly.
Yes. Isn't it amazing? I mean, there's a lot of arsoning around his house, isn't there? With some male models.
You're determined to get yourself blacklisted here, aren't you? I'll tell you what. Just God, I mean, look, the chat's brilliant. I mean, especially tonight when we did this is just like a random show that popped up, but
that's right.
Some great questions. So
we've been doing some recordings, and we just said, it's sort of, oh, should we do a show? Yeah, all right. And it was just I actually had 10 minutes to prepare the show. That's all I had, 10 minutes roughly, 10 or 15 minutes, and I just about made it with about 1 minute to get to because you have to set a time, for when it's going to start. But
just to pull right. So Hachi there. 54 cards to a deck, right? So again, look at that. So you got 52 weeks in a year plus 2 jokers, right? If you divide the 52 by 4, i.e. 4 seasons, you got 13. You got
Yeah.
13 lunar cycles in an annual cycle, right? So this as opposed to the 12 months in a year, but you got 13 lunar months in a year. So even again, there's just so much in that. It needs a show just for that and clocks. I mean, honestly, that would be.
That
And I'm
we'll
not
have
even
to,
an
we'll have
expert
to
on
do
that.
that.
That's yeah.
But
But
apparently Keir Starmer, I like what Arsburger's Fudge said. He says he likes a bit of gentleman's relish. Yes, I bet he does.
I bet he does. Yeah, fits right in with the woke mob.
Now this is a good idea. You could, Stephen Truthseeker said you could do Friday night specials on the occult.
I could be persuaded to do, not every week, but I could be persuaded to do that. I think that'd be interesting, especially if we've got such a big uptake on it. I
Well, we
think
certainly have, and there's a lot of interest. And I'll tell you something.
mm,
Reading people, did you know that? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut across you there, but
no, it's all right.
where Miles has his shop, almost opposite him, is a place called White Witch, which is actually a witchcraft shop. One of very few.
Interesting.
And
Look,
very nice people in there, yeah.
We've
But
got a forest not far. Well, it is quite far from here. It's about 45 minutes away, but it's called Hagwood, and it's got some really weird stuff that happens in there. And I can speak from experience. So there we go.
now,
Once a month, I can do that.
You do that once a month, periodically.
I can do that once a month.
Why not? Yes, that's a good idea.
Yeah, happily do that. So, yeah.
What about Saturn cult symbols? Yes.
Yeah, I've got a ton of stuff on that as well. Again, that's actually my greatest story ever never told. If you're interested, which is the same presentation with the playing cards, with the clocks, but it also goes into Christmas, Santa, Satan, all of that is in there. That's a massive part of the Saturn symbolism. I mean, that's quite deep. It gets quite heavy actually in certain aspects, but.
Matilda, yeah. I've been targeted by a giant green laser and energy weapons, and playing cards were used before tarot cards were invented. Check it out. Yes, I've got them. Yes, we've got tarot cards. Now we got
they are linked. I think it goes back to sort of like the Arabic Spain with a lot of Jewish influence in the area at the time, which is why playing cards and tarot cards they're all linked into Kabbalah, the occult,
really? I didn't know
Hermeticism. Yeah, massively. There's a shared lineage there. It's the same with chess. I mean, look at the game of chess as well. I mean, India, Chinese, Arabic. That's. I mean, if you like, that's an occult game. It's a fantastic game, by the way. But...
I used to play chess regularly, and I took on a grandmaster once. I gave him a little bit of a run for him, not long. I mean, he absolutely hammered me in the end, but he gave me a lot of advice, And now,
just on that. Sorry,
could you pop your email in the chat again, please?
I can just going back to the chess bit there. I did a year in college, and I had to redo my maths. Basically, I left school early, and they insisted that before I did any other course in college, I had to do maths. Anyway, my maths teacher, he was like a young version of. He looked like Einstein, and his brain was absolutely fantastic. It was like he was on fucking Duracell or something. He was on some kind of battery up there. But anyway, I told him that I was interested in chess, and he brought me a chess book and told me like opening moves and things like that. Now I was playing chess with a friend of mine for a year up to that point, thinking actually I'm doing quite well here. I mean, the guy that taught me, he was pretty intelligent. I mean, to be fair to the guy, but I went up against my maths teacher, and I just thought, oh, I'm really crappy. I mean, he just absolutely annihilated me. It's
Oh
so,
yeah,
so there's that.
This is what happened with me, but I learnt a lot from it. I learnt a hell of a lot from it, and but this bloke, as I say, he was a grandmaster, so he knew. I think he felt sorry for me in the end. But I used to love chess, but it makes you think differently with chess. You become more sort of analyse things. But now this Sunday, what we got coming up is we've got Strange Vibes with Trevor John. He's a musician coming on.
Yep.
and we're splitting the show into like two halves, first part and second half. And the second half or first part, Nathan will be on. Or hopes to come on.
Second part, isn't it?
Second part, yeah.
Yeah.
And then the same thing's going to happen with Kathy, our herbal lady, who's coming on, natural medicines, on Monday. That'll be the 2nd of June. Then on the 8th of June, Monica Schaefer's coming on with a D-Day Alternative View special. So, but there will be a recorded show that will go out on D-Day, the 6th of June, which will be a Friday. So that will go out on the 6th of June. And then Nathan's coming on the 9th of June on YouTube. And that is how many weeks' time? That's not
2 weeks, isn't
Monday.
it?
Hang on, it's not this Monday. It's not the Monday after. It's the Monday after that. So it's 3 weeks.
Yeah,
time.
a week and a bit. Sort of kind of. Bloody hell.
Yes.
May is an exceptionally long month, isn't it?
It is a long month.
Feels like it.
Yeah. So that's quite interesting. And the Sunday shows are more of roundtable discussion type shows. So, where the good thing about radio, because we do a radio show on Sundays, is that you can get more people in the studio. And of course, we're going to book up. We're going to have a fair fight, flat Earth versus round Earth.
I'm going to enjoy that, and it'll be civil. It'll be civil, not like these debate shows that you see. I mean, to be fair, I do enjoy those as well, but we like the people we're arguing with, so it will be a civil discussion about Well,
it's like tonight. I mean, Arsberger's as fudge, and I like to say that. and now it says, where do we listen to on Sunday show? It's 8:00 on Rumble. And if you look down in the description box, no, not my crutch, but you look down below in the description box, it'll give you the link to it. Okay, so that'll be my Rumble. So I'm on Rumble, and on Rumble, unlike YouTube, you can say tit and bum and words like that, you see, which you can't say on YouTube. Oh shit, I'm on YouTube, yeah. But anyway, so that's the thing. We're a little bit more loose-lipped on there as well. And so, as I say, the link is down below to the channel. And
just before we go, Chris, if it's all right, so just can I pull the slides back up again, just temporarily?
You can do, or I can put a banner along the bottom.
No, stick the slide up. Because it's all on there anyway. So it's
Now,
so let's go for that.
What am I doing? Just bear with me just a second.
Yeah.
Come on.
You can do it, Chris.
What the bloody else?
Do you want me to see if I can do it from here? There we go. Right.
And I just remove. Yeah, just bear with me a second.
Right, 2 minutes. I'm gonna. Right. Right. Okay. So for those who missed the opener to the show, right. So I've put together a new seminar. Right. So again, if you want to know more about it, go back to the beginning. It's about 15 minutes in, and there's a 10-minute introduction to it. There's also a video that we produced earlier, which explains it in a bit more detail. So for anybody who would like who's interested in joining Occult Academy, again, it's a new initiative that my friend Steve James and I have put together. It will deal with all of the subject matters on the occult that we've discussed tonight, symbolism, etc. It's all in there. Go back to the 15-minute mark and you can learn about that. If you want to contact me by email, mine's it's just here. Mine's the top one and Steve's is the second one. I'm going to just put a caveat out there to anybody who does email me. I am notoriously bad at replying to emails. Now, there's a caveat on the caveat, which so I will always reply to you, but it's not going to be straight away. So please feel free to get in touch. I've also got a Telegram group as well with Occult Academy. It's not fully operational just yet, but you can join it. I think I'll send links to Chris's Telegram group if anyone's interested, but you can get to it on there. It's not fully operational yet, but it will be soon. And there's also potentially there is a website coming, and there's potentially a Facebook page coming as well, against my better judgment. But anyway, So if anyone's interested in Occult Academy, if you want us to come and visit a town near you and do these presentations, if you can get us an audience and a venue, Steve and I will do that happily. Obviously, we're going to need a couple of months' notice to get it advertised and get the tickets. But for anyone who is interested, you can book your tickets. Unfortunately, my face is in the way there, so it's like.
Well, hang on, shall I just drop you and just have you?
Yeah, there we go. Right, okay. So there we go. So if anybody would like a ticket, the first Occult Academy is taking place in Gosforth, which is up in Newcastle upon Tyne. If you scan that QR code, it'll take you to a ticket vendor where you can book the tickets. You can also ask me a question through that particular medium. Again, I know it's a bit short notice at the minute, but if you'd like us to do one of these Occult Academies, somewhere close to you, let us know, give us 2 or 3 months notice, and we'll get it set up, and we will come down to or up to whatever city or town you might be in. There you go. Obviously, that's also linked into my book as well. There's a lot of stuff that's in my book is part and parcel of that course. I hope that answers your questions. Right, I'm going to shut up. There we go. There you go. Thank you.
I think that well, tonight it's
been great.
It's been really great because I thought, it won't be many people.
I know.
It's been terrific. But the other thing I'm going to do, little things, is that there's small businesses that are really struggling, and we all got to help each other. And for example, I don't normally eat out, but I've often said to people, I don't do Ponce food. I can't stand Ponce restaurants and things like that. If I'm going to eat out, I'm going to want some good bleeding decent grub. And there's a cafe that's in the town that if I'm, if I'm out and I think, I might have a little something in there. And I couldn't believe it. I had a great big beef curry rather, with rice, salad, and a cup of tea. £8.90, and it was one of the best curries I think I've ever had. And they're not Indians. I think they're Cypriot, and they're fantastic food.
Yeah.
So I believe that we should praise businesses, and they're a family firm, family little business. So I'm going to hopefully I can't stand these YouTube programs where you get these Ponzi people going into these restaurants and having a hidden camera whilst they're eating and saying, "Oh, it's this." No, if somewhere's bad, I don't go there. That's it. If somewhere's good, I'll praise them. I don't do a bad review and all that. But the thing is, if you go to like a shop that's nice, then why not? We could try and promote them on the show. Just say, look, go there. It's good bloody grub. Mention us, and you might get a fucking wall pencil or something, or
or a pencil.
Yes,
I mean, to be fair, mate, that's got to be the cheapest meal I've seen in about a year. Like $8.50 for a curry and a drink. I mean, really,
it's a bloody nice cup of tea. I tell you that, and it's a mug of tea. It's not it's a proper, and to me, as I say, I can't stand Ponce venues. It's not Ponce. It's clean. Go into the cars, you could eat the meal off the floor. It's that clean. It's spotless. And the bloke who does the food, he really takes a pride in it. Oh, you enjoy this, sir? You can tell he really enjoys. His wife does cooking as well, and he's the waiter. And I think that it's good to support small businesses.
Yeah.
So the Waltham Cross, I'll get all the details. I'll mention something on my Monday program would be best. I'll show pictures and that of it. But if you can do a review. Just if you go to a place and you think they're bloody good, it helps other people as well. Because you think, oh yeah, we go to them, they're good,
But can I do a little business recommendation as well?
Certainly.
I mean, again,
yeah.
So I know. Okay, the UK is quite a big country, especially when we're doing YouTube videos. But if anyone's in the northeast, around Teesside, Gisborough, there's a couple of great independent businesses there. There's a cafe and cake shop by the name of Thingamajigs. You got to love it. He does absolutely brilliant home baked cakes or the best coffee in Gisborough. There's a health shop there, for goodness sake, which it's independent. It's not one of these Holland and Barretts. And
Good.
there's also one of these crystal type shops. I don't know. Are we even allowed to do this? I'm doing it anyway. There's a crystal shop
Yeah.
in Gisborne also by the name of Willow Moon. All three of these I come highly recommended, and they're all, they're fantastic owners, fantastic staff, and they do very good products. So there you go. There's a plug for those three as well.
Well,
So
I'll whip some cards in the post to you, and if you want to give them to promote the show, because
I
it's a
can do,
method
yeah.
in my mad, it's a method in my madness, you see,
Fair enough.
because we're helping them, they might help us with a little poster on them.
That would be good.
So I'm not. So you can't fool me. I'm too stupid.
Oh, I mean, it's. Was it fool me once? Shame on you. Fool me twice. Yeah, it was always going to happen.
Yeah. But I can't read this out for obvious reasons. I would 100% agree with you there, Stephen Truth Seeker.
Yeah.
I avoid them like the plague. And you ought to speak to Miles, Dr. Miles Fleetwood, who I'm going to drag kicking and screaming onto this show if he doesn't bleeding come on soon. Because enough people saying, "Where's Miles?" I don't know. Now, and also, silver birch juice is full of antioxidants. There you go. See, and now, shall I read this out?
Sorry, that previous one from Hachi Hachi. That's one to bring up with Kathy, I think, because that'd be a good talking point.
Yes.
So anyway, there you go.
That's it. And now, what's it now? What's this? Puss's rubbish. Good, Chris. It was part of Navy rations. Was it really? Sounds disgusting. Yes. And did the bloke
you got nothing
afterwards? Yes. Well, here we go.
Right.
Hachi, not sure what you're on about, but please don't do it.
Yeah, especially if you've got amphetamines embedded into it, I mean, don't do that.
Yes. It
don't do that.
Makes your eyes water. Yes.
Yeah, drugs are bad.
Thank you very much for joining us tonight, everybody.
Yeah.
And as we're saying this, I'm looking at the outro. Again, this was there's a lot. We said, yeah, let's do a show. It wasn't planned really as such. And I don't know if you've got anything to say to the everybody, the audience.
I will actually. I mean, it's been a fantastic turnout considering it was just kind of like one of these last minute things that we just kind of conjured up. However, thank you everyone who's tuned in, because you've made the show as always. It's fantastic. Your comments are great and respectful, so keep them coming. So the request for us to do an occult show once every month. Well, why don't we book the next one in a month from now so that people are aware of it in advance?
Yes.
Why don't we go for so like what about 1, 2, 3, 4? We go for the 27th of June. I think I can do that. I think I can do that.
Because
I think I can do that.
I'm old world because I use a diary and a pencil and paper. And it's 27th of June.
Mushroom cults. Stephen Truth Seekers. He's on form tonight as well. Mushroom cults. That's another big one. That is also. I can integrate that into the greatest story ever never told. I mean, the stuff on mushrooms and Christmas and Vikings. It's great stuff. Fish cults, Christianity. There's so much stuff here. Fish cult, solar cult, sex cult, blood cult. There we go.
And also the Truth Group cult.
Oh, that's the big one now.
And I've lost the bleeding.
You've lost it.
A few minutes there.
So earmark again.
Here it is.
Let's put it in for the 27th of June, and again, I'll double check that before I completely commit to it. But if we earmark that now, then at least people kind of have a clue what's going on. So we'll do a Friday night show.
June, and we'll say Nathan.
While you're doing that, Hachi, to that question that you've just asked, yes, if they are microdosed. I'm not going to say how I know that, because that might be bordering on illegal, but if they're microdosed, yeah.
Interesting.
So there you go. I'll leave it at that for legal reasons.
All drugs were legal in Victorian times, wakey. And that's why Coca-Cola was called Cocaine Cola. And they changed the name.
Yeah, and then they took the
And
coke out of it. I mean,
yeah, I bet Roger says, I bet Roger the cabin boy is relieved to hear that. So,
oh,
well, you know, the Prime Minister of Fogham is Roger, and
ring the car.
yes, Roger.
There's another one.
Right.
Amanitas are better. I mean, I mean, how do we get around the toxicity of that without a reindeer, though? I mean, I know we've discussed that, but it's
Christmas colds.
the Amanita muscaria mushroom. I mean, that's a biggie. That's a cult symbolism all over that one. I mean, especially for Christmas.
Yeah,
Christmas
yes.
cults. Yeah.
But
God,
do you know,
right.
mushrooms have got something in them that make you younger. Seriously, and broccoli has it as well. I was watching who was his name, Dr. Summit on YouTube, because lots of these people are talking about vitamins, and I'm very much into vitamins and nutrition, you see. And yeah, it's quite interesting. What was his name? Dr. Grundy. And
Grundy.
He's an American from California, you know, and he speaks like this. And then, of course, you got Dr. Mandel, and he's very good, Dr. Mandel, and he speaks like that, you know. He's, you know, sort of, you know, if you stick your finger up your nose and count backwards, you look a silly sod, you know, that sort of stuff.
Sure, I was going to say. I mean, if you do enough mushrooms, you'll be going back in time. Maybe no. Well, you could do actually, yes. I guess. Anyway, I know
I can do you 15 minutes on that about Amanitas.
Yeah, you know the big red and white mushroom. Well, some people say it's a toadstool, but I beg to do it anyway. Regardless as to whether it's a, some people call it the fly agaric. I would love to hear that because that'll probably be very good to discuss. Anyway, so
and Stephen Truthfigure said, "I told you I seen beings dancing inside fairy ring in 1987." And I will never step into a fairy ring. That's until you know what I will not do. I will never step on a grave in a graveyard. Never have since I was a child. Never do it.
Well, I mean, it's respectful not to, isn't it? So.
Well, that's it. And you see photographers and people all standing on them. It is incredible. Deep. That is disrespect of the highest nature. You know. Anyway.
Sorry, I've just Archie's comment as well. You guys, right? You got to stop. You got to stop. We're going to sign off now, guys. But that's hilarious.
Never drink reindeer pee at Christmas. Rhoda might give you more than a red nose. And Baby Sham.
That takes you back a bit, doesn't it? Baby Sham.
That's right, Baby Sham. But everybody's on about Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer, but nothing's said about Randolph the brown-nosed reindeer. He runs behind Rudolph and has problems with stopping.
So this is why we should have ended it 5 minutes ago, Chris. This is the reason. I mean, you forgot the complete phallic symbolism of mushrooms. You know, I mean, I'm surprised you haven't gone down that avenue yet. You know, it's
a bit of a cock up, isn't it? You know,
ancient Egyptian cult. Right? Okay, there's tons of that. Right, we need to definitely follow this up in a month's time, I reckon, because there's so much stuff here.
There is
so much
stuff. Coming on, everybody. We got because I'm going to collapse any minute now. I've been up since 5 o'clock this morning. It's 11:30 at night, and I'm, you know. So thank you very much for joining us.
Cheers, guys.
And whatever happens,
it's been fun.
Have a bloody good laugh and good night. Thank you very much for watching the show. And if you could kindly put the thumbs up, I'd be really grateful. And if you haven't already subscribed, please do. It doesn't cost you anything and it really helps a lot. And of course, if you're feeling a little bit generous, you could always buy me a coffee. Details are down in the description box. And also, why not pop in to see my Telegram channel, which again is down in the description box, which you can link onto, and Facebook as well. And thank you very much. And either good night, good morning, or good afternoon, wherever you're